Section 62. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just kidding, if there are 2 or 3, they can resist, but in a group, whoever runs slower will die. Ji Xiaotang and Qi Li in the distance also hurriedly called on their tribesmen to escape. Although there were more than 80 people in total, they had no chance of winning against a group of thunder apes. What's more, everyone was scattered to collect herbs and there was no time to form a formation to deal with it. At this moment, several Qi training monks were brutally killed by the thunder ape. The angry thunder ape directly tore them into pieces, further shocking the others. When other people saw the dead souls, the situation became even more chaotic. They wished that their parents would give them 2 more legs. Asshole, Ji Xiaotang gritted his silver teeth and hated Qin Hu. He shouted at another family foundation builder, "Take your clan members back to the exit quickly, and I will divert those thunder apes away." This time she brought all the core children of the family. If they died here, the Ji family would be doomed. The man hurriedly nodded in agreement, gathered some of the nearby tribesmen, slapped a spiritual talisman on his body, and quickly fled with these tribesmen. There were still many tribesmen in the distance who were left behind, but at this moment, he could no longer care about so many things. Running one is one, the people of the Qin family were at the end and were the main targets of attack. At this time, they didn't care about making any noise. They threw all kinds of talismans wildly and used all kinds of tricks to escape from the sky. As for whether they would disturb more monsters along the way, they would not care about this. If they did not escape from this place, there would be only death waiting for them, but how could the dead thunder ape let them go so easily? Several second-level thunder apes did not hesitate to exchange injuries for injuries, but also tried to catch them by hitting the talismans released by everyone. Chapter 119. The third-level monster appears. 4 second-level thunder apes targeted the Qin family's early-stage foundation-building monk. The man released 2 second-level talisman seals and quickly flew into the air, but he was still approached by a second-level thunder ape. A black horn on the thunder ape's head flashed with an electric arc, and a bolt of lightning struck him. The Qin family establishment screamed and fell from the air. When he saw several thunder apes waiting for him on the ground, the man shouted in despair. "Brother, save me!" Qin Hu looked back and saw that the thunder ape had surrounded the man and could not save him, so he turned back and continued to run away. "Brother!" On the other side, the Wang and Li families found another medicine garden. This place was larger. Wang Hao stood on the edge, staring at a golden fruit tree in the distance with 3 bright golden flowers hanging on it. Fruit. Is this Xuanhuan? Just as he was about to pick it, a sudden light struck from the distance, followed by a large roar. "No, it's a monster!" Wang Yanlang exclaimed. Li Durong said quickly, "Those people seem to be running away. They have attracted the monsters. Let's leave quickly." Wang Hao glanced at Xuanhuan and wanted to grit his teeth and touch it. At this distance, he could fly over in just a few breaths, but the figure of the monster in the distance could already be seen. Wang Wenmei and Wang Wenwu stopped him. "Fifth brother, hurry up, it will be too late." At this time, Qin Hu, Qi Li, and Ji Xiaotang and other 3 foundation builders gathered together to escape. They deliberately lured away the thunder ape. Some of the Qi practicing monks from the 3 families were taken away by the other 2 foundation builders. The remaining clan members had been demonized. The beast tore it to pieces. The 3 of them also felt the presence of Wang Hao and others. Qi Li's eyes flashed with a faint light. "We are being chased by monsters, but these people are secretly gathering medicine. We can't make them feel so comfortable, so we will lure the monsters over." Ji Xiaotang was thinking that with a few more foundation builders, they might be able to work together to resist the monsters. Wang Hao also knows that it is unrealistic to touch the Xuanhuan fruit tree again. He may succeed in touching it, but he will also fall into the siege of monsters. The tribesmen will definitely stay to save him. He may be able to fight out by then. Wang Wenmei and others, the tribesmen who had just established the foundation, were in dire straits. "Let's go." Wang Hao no longer hesitated and made a decision in a blink of an eye, avoiding the direction of the monster's pursuit and fleeing. "Catch them, don't let them run away!" Qi Li shouted. Although the three of them are very strong, facing so many monsters, they will be consumed sooner or later. The only way is to follow Wang Hao and others to let them. It is possible to escape by sharing the pressure. More than a dozen foundation builders fled together, constantly disturbing the monsters along the way, and the entire alchemy sect Spirit Mountain became noisy. The thunder ape that was initially pursued has long since disappeared. There is also a strict territorial division among the monsters. The thunder ape chased everyone across the border and was killed by many other monsters. In order to protect the first-order thunder ape, it had to give up the pursuit in the end. But more monsters were disturbed. Ji Xiaotang originally planned to unite everyone to resist, but when he saw that the number of chasing monsters reached hundreds of second-level monsters, which were no less than a small beast tide, he lost this confidence. Behind Wang Hao, he was being pursued by two second-order high-grade flying monsters. "Gone, everyone, go back and show them how powerful you are, otherwise we will die sooner or later due to exhaustion of true energy." Wang Hao stood in the air and shouted, taking out a lot of talismans and throwing them at the monster beasts. The rest of the Wang family were the first to respond, and then the Li family also attacked. The three of Ji Xiaotang looked at each other and knew that they must abandon their past grudges at this moment. If they choose to escape, the Wang and Li families will definitely choose to follow them later. If they go in a different direction, they will become the weakest wave again. 11 foundation building monks took action one after another, with various talismans and magic weapons intertwined with auras. There was a rumbling explosion, and many low-level monsters fell in a pool of blood. Their bodies were quickly eaten by other monsters. They fought and fled, and many monsters were frightened by their fierce attacks and stopped chasing. The monsters living here can be regarded as happy. There is abundant spiritual energy here. No human has captured them for thousands of years. There are also large areas of spiritual medicine to nourish them. They are used to comfort and cherish their lives. This is the case with humans and monsters. Only some are more prone to anger, or are conceited about their strength and are still chasing human monks. Roar. Suddenly, a huge roar came from a distance, accompanied by a huge pressure. Many monsters stopped attacking everyone, with terrified expressions on their faces, and some first-level monsters even crawled on the ground, trembling. Third-level monster, that everyone looked terrified. There was abundant spiritual energy and abundant supplies here. They guessed from the beginning whether there would be third-level monsters, but they didn't expect there would be. Qi Li exclaimed, "Go separately, otherwise no one can get away." As he said that, he first set up a beam of light and flew away. Several people from the Wang family looked at Wang Hao. They could still protect themselves against the second-level beasts, but it was difficult to resist the third-level monsters without the support of a large formation. Wang Hao also came to his senses at this time. Separate and go, don't hesitate, one escape is one escape. That everyone fled in all directions. Fortunately, the monsters were suppressed by the roar of the third-level monsters and did not chase them, giving everyone a moment of respite. Wang Hao looked back and saw a white giant bear more than 3 meters tall appearing in the distance. The white giant bear seemed extremely angry, and with one palm, it slapped a second-level monster next to it into a pool of flesh and blood. The white giant bear saw the people fleeing in all directions and roared angrily. "Humble human, dare to trespass into my territory, today I will make you go without return." That this third-level white bear can actually transmit sound. Yes, the IQ of the third-level monster is not inferior to that of ordinary people, and it can master a variety of spells, so it is not impossible to transmit sound. "When I catch you, I will definitely take off all your heads." That the white bear continued to threaten, and at the same time, it got on all fours and quickly chased after everyone. The trees and monsters along the way were all knocked away by it mercilessly. When it got close, the white bear pushed with both palms, and a bunch of earth cones instantly chased everyone. A green light flashed on Wang Hao's feet, and he quickly moved dozens of feet and avoided the attacks of several earth cones. But the others were not as lucky as him. Many of the Wang family members did not have defensive spiritual weapons, and could only rely on dodging or spiritual talismans for defense. Wang Yanlang and Wang Wenmei did not dodge, and were shot by an earth cone. They screamed and fell from the air. 2 people from the Li family were also hit. Fortunately, the white bear launched the attack at a distance too far, and the power of the earth cone was not enough. They were only injured, and they had not lost their ability to move. The few people who fell to the ground continued to flee despite their injuries, which made Wang Hao feel much more relieved. On the contrary, another group of people, who were at a higher level and had rich family backgrounds, successfully defended. The white bear looked at the people who had dodged the attack in surprise, and roared even more angrily, shaking people's eardrums. Wang Hao felt a tightness in his chest, and his throat tasted sweet and he spat out a mouthful of blood. The white bear tested the strength of the people with one move, and turned to face the strongest Ji Xiaotang without paying attention to the few ants in the early stage of foundation building, and sent out many earth cones with both palms again. Ji Xiaotang took out a blue bag-shaped magic weapon to defend most of it, but was still hit by many earth cones. He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, his white clothes were stained red, and his face was wilted. Obviously he was seriously injured. The white bear sneered and continued to attack. Unexpectedly, Ji Xiaotang did not know what secret method he used. A flash of blood flashed and disappeared in an instant. Chapter 120 Mountain Top. Being escaped under his nose, the white bear became even more angry, and frantically launched magic to attack Qin Hu, Qi Li, and Wang Hao, but let the others take the opportunity to run away. Wang Hao was speechless. I am only in the early stage of foundation building. Do you think too highly of me with this choice? The spiritual light of the Qingyuan shoes on his feet flashed wildly, and he put several defensive talismans on his body, but the attack of a third-level monster is not so easy to resist. Moreover, the power of the white bear's attack is getting stronger and stronger. Judging from the fluctuation of spiritual power on his body, it is at least a third-level medium-grade monster. Wang Hao's defense collapsed instantly, and the last few attacks were resisted by his body. If he was not a physical cultivator, he would have died at this moment. Even so, he was seriously injured. Wang Hao's arm drooped, and his body was covered with blood. He couldn't even fly with a sword. Wang Hao hurriedly called out Yaya and let it take him to escape. He didn't want to die. At this moment, Wang Hao regretted not staying. With the current resources, he would have no problem practicing to the perfection of foundation building. Why bother to take risks? But he also knew that if he didn't take risks, he would not get the spiritual objects of Dan. Without the spiritual objects of Dan, how could he, a 5 spiritual root, form Dan? The white bear didn't know whether it had determined that Wang Hao would die, so it didn't target him, but started to deal with Qi Li and Qin Hu, who had just defended most of his attacks, causing the two to be scared and use various magical powers to deal with them. This stimulated the white bear and attracted its attention. Wang Hao was relieved a little, but soon, a group of second-level monsters seemed to have received the order from the white bear and began to chase everyone, making Wang Hao nervous again. Go to the mountain. There are some remaining formations on the mountain. I don't believe these monsters dare to barge in. Wang Hao ordered Yaya, and Yaya chirped and flew quickly to the top of the mountain, but Yaya was only a second-grade lower-grade monster. There were many second-grade upper-grade flying monsters among the monsters, and their flying speed was much faster than it. Wang Hao was seriously injured and could not deal with it now. A second-grade upper-grade flying bat took the opportunity to hit Yaya hard. Yaya screamed and shook her body for a few times. She finally stabilized when she was about to reach the ground, so that Wang Hao would not fall directly to the ground. Her big toe was torn in half, but fortunately her wings were intact, and she still flew with Wang Hao despite the pain. Wang Hao released the fantasy moon butterflies and let them spit out mist in order to confuse the monsters for a moment, and then ordered Yaya to continue flying to the top of the mountain. Sure enough, the light of the band kept flashing along the way, and the speed of those flying monsters had to slow down. Wang Hao could constantly choose a safe path for Yaya with his powerful spiritual sense, but some spells continued to hit Yaya. When they reached the top of the mountain, Yaya was hit hard on one side of her wings in order to block a spell for Wang Hao. She could no longer hold on and smashed towards the top of the mountain with Wang Hao. The top of the mountain was bare, with only a black boulder. This was also the reason why Wang Hao and others had not explored it before. If he hit it at this speed, even if his physical strength was much higher than that of ordinary cultivators, he would not survive. Is he going to die? Wang Hao couldn't tell what he felt in his heart. He had only one thought, which was to survive. He used the last of his spiritual power to condense a protective shield and put Yaya back into the spirit beast bag. It only had one breath left. At the last moment it wanted to use its body to buffer Wang Hao, but Wang Hao couldn't bear to watch it die miserably. But after a while, the impact did not come, as if it had passed through a layer of soft shield. Formation, Wang Hao exclaimed softly, looked up, and found that the monsters did not chase in. Wang Hao thought he was lucky, his mind relaxed and he could no longer hold on and fainted. Before he fainted, he only felt a figure sitting cross-legged on the ground. Without thinking, he controlled his body and fell over. When he woke up again, Wang Hao found himself on a small island. Just as he was wondering, the wooden door was pushed open with a creak, and several teenagers walked in. Section 63. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Brother Wang Hao, what are you doing? It's time to go to the bride's reception. Go to the bride's reception? Wang Hao looked at everyone in confusion. Why should I go to the bride's reception? Wait, when did I get engaged? Wu Hua, you are so happy that you are silly. An old man walked in and said to everyone, what are you standing there for? Help the groom to pack up quickly. The auspicious time will pass soon. Don't dare to be criticized by the bride. Wang Hao was covered with red and green, and then was carried out of the door. A donkey outside also had red flowers, and Wang Hao rode on it. Several teenagers picked up the bride's gifts and walked to the other end of the village. In a small courtyard, a red cloth was also hung, and a bride in red clothes was crying in front of her parents. Xiaotang, don't cry. If you cry again, your makeup will be ruined, and your in-laws will complain. The middle-aged mother kept comforting the girl. The woman raised her head and said with tears in her eyes, Mother, why do I have to get married so early? Can't I stay with you for a few more years? The mother scolded, Silly child, a woman should get married when she grows up. It is common sense to take care of her husband and children. What's the point of staying with us? Do you still want to be an old maid? The groom is here, get ready. A shout came from outside. The mother hurriedly wiped the tears for the woman and tidied her clothes. After a while, Wang Hao knocked on the door at the urging of everyone. Like a puppet, he performed many etiquette under the guidance of everyone and successfully took the bride into the sedan chair. After a lot of music and drums, they came to a lobby covered with wedding characters. After the worship, Wang Hao was sent to the bridal chamber. In a daze, he completed the zhougong ceremony with the bride. The bride was gentle, beautiful, and virtuous. The two supported each other. Wang Hao, a bachelor for 2 lifetimes, felt this kind of warmth for the first time and immediately sank into it. The two had 3 children and cultivated more than 10 acres of land. They worked from sunrise to sunset, with the man tilling the fields and the woman weaving cloth. Their life was hard and happy. In a blink of an eye, the two had spent decades together. Wang Hao was already old, with white hair and beard. One day, the playful grandson came in with a muddy body. As soon as they met, he pestered Wang Hao and asked, Grandpa, are there really immortals in this world? Wang Hao touched the boy's head lovingly. Where are there immortals? How come Grandpa has lived for more than 60 years and has never seen one? You may have met a kidnapper, don't be deceived. But just now, an immortal came to the village. He said that if you have spiritual roots, you can cultivate immortals. He also said that my grandson has spiritual roots and asked if my grandson is willing to cultivate immortals with him. Spiritual roots. Cultivate immortals. Wang Hao's eyes were dull for a moment. I remember, I am Wang Hao, I am a foundation-building cultivator, I am an immortal. Wang Hao laughed crazily. Then he looked around and saw that his beloved grandson was hiding in fear. Tears were about to fall, but he could no longer care about him at this time, because all this was fake. He didn't have any grandson, it was all illusion. This is an illusion. I remember it was on the top of the Danding sect. I must have touched some restriction, but his brows frowned again. No, why has this illusion not disappeared even though I have woken up? Wang Hao thought about it carefully, and thought of seeing a woman when he fainted, and then slapped his forehead. Yes, that person must have been pulled in. I can't get out just by knowing that this is an illusion. Thought it was easy to find that person, because Wang Hao found that the person was his wife Ji Xiaotang based on the appearance comparison. Chapter 121 Old Couple. That person is a late Foundation cultivator, who used a secret method to escape from the white bear to here, and then fell into the illusion, and was pulled in after crashing into it. Wang Hao analyzed it carefully. Wang Hao left his grandson crying and came to the backyard. He saw Ji Xiaotang, whose face was full of wrinkles, walking towards the front yard with a cane. Old man, why do I hear my grandson crying? Wang Hao could not use his spiritual power and consciousness now, just like ordinary people. It was so difficult to wake up Ji Xiaotang by just talking. He had no choice but to choose the fastest way, that is, to let the person in the illusion die. Miss Ji, I'm sorry. He raised the cane in his hand and hit the other person's head hard. Unfortunately, he was too old and the stick did not kill Ji Xiaotang. He had to strangle her to death with his hands, until she died. Ji Xiaotang's face was full of disbelief. With her death, Wang Hao was awake again, and the illusion built with the two of them as the core began to collapse. But just when Wang Hao thought he could get out, the collapsed environment began to reassemble, and Wang Hao's memory became blurred again. This time, Wang Hao actually returned to his former campus. He is now a sophomore and has been a licker for a year. He unknowingly chose to lick a campus goddess. Today, the goddess took the initiative to ask him out for the first time. Wang Hao carefully took care of his appearance, changed into clean clothes, and rode a second-hand bicycle to the girls' dormitory. Ji Xiaotang was waiting downstairs in the girls' dormitory. When she saw Wang Hao, she smiled slightly. She looked very charming in modern clothes. Wang Hao smiled and invited her to sit on the back seat of the bicycle. The two watched movies and ran together. Their feelings quickly heated up. 2 months later, they entered a room in a small hotel under the surprised eyes of the proprietress. After graduation, the two quickly got married and started working hard in the city. Life was still hard, but still happy. In middle age, Wang Hao returned home after a day of work and found that Ji Xiaotang was not there, and there was a box on the table. When Wang Hao was tidying up, he found that there were diaries she wrote when she was in school. Curiosity prompted Wang Hao to check it out, then his face began to change. It turned out that in the diary in college, Ji Xiaotang's description of him was not friendly. Words like toad and annoying made Wang Hao feel heartbroken. After they were together, Ji Xiaotang never wrote a diary again, which made him sober. I'm so stupid, how could the goddess like me? This is still an illusion. But all this is so real, I really don't want to wake up. Wang Hao closed Ji Xiaotang's diary, and tears were already streaming down his face. This memory of licking the dog has been buried in the deepest part of Wang Hao's mind. Now that the fantasy is shattered, how can he not be heartbroken? I'm back. Ji Xiaotang's voice rang out with the sound of the door opening. She walked in with a basket of vegetables. Seeing Wang Hao's tearful face in the living room, she was stunned and asked gently, "Dear, what's wrong?" Wang Hao stared at her face with a nostalgic look, and murmured, "Dreams are dreams, it's time to wake up." He then took Ji Xiaotang's hand to the balcony, hugged her and jumped. The illusion was reorganized again. The two came to Qingniafeng this time. Wang Hao returned to the age of 18, and Ji Xiaotang became a tenant who rented his house. Different from reality, the two had a good impression of each other, and gradually got to know each other, and then became a pair of Taoist companions. It was not until the monster rebellion that Wang Hao saw Wang Yanzhao using the red lotus true fire and felt familiar with him that he slowly woke up. When he returned home, he saw Ji Xiaotang again. Since both of them were cultivators in this life, they looked younger, unlike the two who had changed their appearance when they woke up in the previous 2 lives. But what worries Wang Hao is that Ji Xiaotang is stronger than him. If he wants to kill her as easily as in the previous 2 lives, it is unrealistic. Fortunately, there is no need to solve it so roughly this time. Wang Hao slowly communicates with her, and uses the power of consciousness to stimulate her several times, gradually making her sober. Qingniafeng began to break up, and then reorganized. The two of them went through 9,981 lives before they completely walked out of the illusion. Most of the emotional entanglements in the 81 lives were happy, which deeply affected the two of them. The shadow of each other in their minds has long been indelible. The two who returned to reality were still immersed in this illusion, sitting opposite each other in silence. After a long time, Wang Hao said, "When I form a pill, I will go to Cancer Island to propose marriage and marry you." "I can't do it. I am the seed of the Ji family. Now the ancestor is old. The Ji family will rely on me to protect it in the future. How can I go with you? Unless you are willing to marry into the family." Ji Xiaotang was embarrassed and annoyed by his words, and said with red cheeks, "If you lack a Jindan cultivator, I will train another one for the Ji family. You and I definitely want one." Wang Hao said domineeringly. He has a farm and has the capital to say this. Of course, the premise is to get the Xuanhuan fruit tree. This is not very difficult in Wang Hao's view. When the monsters outside subside, he will sneak in quietly. Now that the area has been unlocked, the movements of the monsters are displayed, and he can easily avoid them. As for why he must marry Ji Xiaotang, the two have been husband and wife in the illusion for thousands of years. It can be said that they are unforgettable and have become an old couple. Even at this moment, they don't feel embarrassed to hug each other. It's not that you can break it off. If you rashly go against your heart, it will affect your path. Unless the two of them practice some ruthless avenue and then kill each other to prove the way, it is possible to break free from this relationship. Otherwise, even if they can form a Dan, they will die in the heart demon barrier of the nascent soul in the future. Not to mention that the two of them don't have relevant ruthless skills, it is also difficult to kill each other to prove the way. Many things in the illusion are constructed based on the memories of the two. Now they know each other very well and know each other's cards. Not to mention that they don't have this idea. Even if they do, it is difficult to do anything to each other, so it is better to obey this relationship. There is no loss for both of them. They can also help each other and go to the road together. How about it, do you agree? I believe this time will not be too long, just give me 50 years. 50 years is a very tight time for Wang Hao to form a pill, but it is still possible. After 6 months of fighting, his mana has been extremely pure, and he can take the Jade Moon Xuanhuan fruit again. If he eats 3 or 4 in a row, he can almost build the 5th level of foundation. Even if he is almost there, practicing for 2 or 3 more years will be enough. Okay, I'll wait for you. Ji Xiaotang nodded gently with affection. Wang Hao couldn't help but peck her. You. We are already an old married couple, what are you talking about? Neither you nor I have formed the elixir yet, so it's best not to do anything that will damage the yin and yang of the Yuaning. I know, after so many lives, don't you know me? I am the one who is pursuing the path of the Yuaning. Just rub it. Humph. Ji Xiaotang snorted and pushed Wang Hao away. It would be fine if she didn't talk about this, but she got angry when she talked about her. She was killed by Wang Hao in almost every life, especially in one life. She was a princess and Wang Hao was the taifu. She was taught by him in her childhood and they formed a friendship. Later, her father died, the prince was young, and the country was in turmoil. He fought outside and resisted the enemy on all sides, and she supported her younger brother in the court, but after the country was stable, the younger brother began to fear him and did not allow her to marry. Later, the struggle intensified, and she was even placed under house arrest. It was called house arrest, but no one in the cold palace could get out alive. Not long after, she became seriously ill. Wang Hao heard the news and his hair turned white overnight, but he also woke up at this time. Then he led his troops to attack the king's city. She thought he was here to save her, and she was so moved that she burst into tears on the sickbed. But who could have thought that Wang Hao saw that she was already on her deathbed when he entered the room, and decisively stabbed her without saying a word. Chapter 122 Lord Liang. Wang Hao scratched his head awkwardly. Weren't you dying at that time? If you really died in the illusion, you would also die in reality. Only if I kill you can I help you break free from the illusion. Section 64. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That's what I said, but why is it that I am the one who gets hurt every time? Ji Xiaotang unknowingly began to act coquettishly according to the tone in the fantasy. How can 1,000 years of entanglement be easily changed? Maybe my Taoist heart is stronger. I wake up every time. Wang Hao guessed that it might be due to his modern thinking. He didn't even feel that his own life was real, let alone an illusion. Okay, you and I have been seriously injured. Let's heal our wounds first and then explore this place. Maybe there will be some gains. Wang Hao finished speaking and took out something from the storage bag. Here are some pills. The medicine includes the God-gathering pill that increases spiritual consciousness, and 2 blue moon Xuanhuan fruits. You should be able to build the 9th level of the foundation after taking it. It will be my engagement gift for marrying you. Humph, you only want to marry a late-stage foundation establishment monk with this little thing? Ji Xiaotang pouted and said disdainfully, but his eyes were staring at the blue moon Xuanhuan fruit, a spiritual fruit that can save 10 years of hard work. She is still very attractive. Wang Hao gently held her in his arms and said with a smile, I said it was the engagement gift. Didn't I just say the betrothal gift? I will train a golden elixir monk for the Ji family. It's not convenient now. When I go back, I can make a batch of cultivation elixirs and foundation building elixirs, and you can now select suitable tribesmen to train, that the Ning Yuan fruit is ripe, and Wang Hao will not be short of foundation building pills in his hands. After he returns this time, he will train foundation building monks for the Wang family. Although the Ji family is a golden elixir family, it is not difficult to obtain foundation building elixirs, but who would have too much of this kind of thing? Wang Hao gave so many things at once, which made Ji Xiaotang secretly happy. Although this man killed her dozens of times in the fantasy world, he still cared about her in reality, and then he also took out a jade slip. This is a secret technique that I practice, called blood escape technique. I was able to escape from the white bear, all thanks to this technique. You often hunt monsters in the sea, and you will have more protection if you master it. Wang Hao happily took it and took a look. It was an escape technique at the cost of burning his own essence and blood. The effect was good. In the early stage of foundation building, he could quickly escape 500 miles, in the middle stage, he could reach thousands of miles, and in the later stage, he could escape 300 to 500 miles. 1,000 miles is not difficult. At this distance, it would take even a golden core cultivator a quarter of an hour to fly over. The possibility of escaping is still very high. Then the two of them began to heal their injuries. Their injuries were very serious and they would not be able to recover for more than a year and a half. However, they did not dare to recuperate here for so long, so the two of them just used the power of elixirs to stabilize their injuries without harming them. Foundation, he got up and began to explore this place. Ji Xiaotang told Wang Hao that she was able to come here only because of the map left by her ancestors. The Danding sect turned out to be one of the first nascent soul forces to open up the South China Sea. Unfortunately, the two nascent soul monks were seriously injured in the battle with the monster. His strength was greatly reduced, and he obtained the headquarters of the alchemy sect by virtue of his military exploits. After his death, the alchemy sect fell out of control and gradually became a Jindan force. However, its residual power was still there, and it was stable after giving up part of its power. Until 6,000 years ago, the alchemy sect returned. After cultivating a nascent soul, just when he was determined to make progress, he suffered the calamity of annihilation. The main force that attacked the mountain gate was monster beasts, but it was not without the help of other human forces. This involved the issue of profit distribution. In order to preserve the inheritance, the Yuanying monks at that time dismissed some of their disciples, and at the same time sank the entire Danding sect's headquarters into the sea, and the monster beasts that invaded the mountain gate were also trapped in it. This is why there are so many monster beasts here. His ancestors were once inner disciples of the alchemy sect, while the other three sects were only outer sects, so the Ji family knew more information. According to the information left by the ancestors, this should be where the spiritual veins of the alchemy sect are located, and it is the core. In this place, the spiritual veins of the alchemy cauldron sect are fourth-level spiritual veins. After 1,000 years, even if there is no other harvest, the byproducts next to the spiritual veins are worth a lot of money. The two of them were on a platform, and the spiritual veins were still below. They needed to fly down to explore, but when the two were about to explore, a voice suddenly sounded. "You two little friends, stay here for now." The phantom of an old man in blue clothes gradually appeared in front of the two of them. "Who is it?" Wang Hao protected Ji Xiaotang behind him and quickly called out Xiao Bai and Huan Yuti, looking wary. "My dear friends, there is no need to panic. I am the last nascent soul cultivator of the alchemy cauldron sect, true Lord Liang." "What, nascent soul cultivator?" The pupils of the two of them were shocked. There was actually a nascent soul cultivator here. The Liang true Lord continued, "Yes, it's a pity that I only have a remnant soul left, so you two little friends don't have to worry. I can't do anything to you at all, and not only will I not harm you, I will also give you a gift." What a chance! Even though he said this, Wang Hao did not relax their guard. The Yuanying monks' magical power was beyond their imagination. If nothing else, the power of the soul was 100 times stronger than theirs, and it was easy to seize the body. Seeing this, Liang Jinjuan said slowly, "You two don't have to worry that I will seize your body. To be honest, I have already tried it. If you indulge in the illusion, I will definitely seize your body. It's a pity that these two little friends are so talented that they can see through 81 of my illusions in a row. Now my soul is extremely weak and I am no longer able to take over. As expected, it's you, an old Inbi." Wang Hao cursed secretly. He thought he had entered an illusory formation at first, but the experiences the two of them had in the illusory realm were much more real than the illusory formation, with fewer flaws. Moreover, they were all based on the two of them. Made up by memory processing in the mind. After leaving the illusion, the two of them also checked their surroundings and found only a second-level emotional formation. This formation would never be able to trap the two of them for such a long time. The co-author was the trick of Lord Liang, who directly used the power of the spirit's blessing formation to generate the illusion. "Then why did you show up?" Wang Hao asked. True Lord Liang sighed heavily and said, "I originally wanted to seize the body and revive the alchemy sect with my own hands, but now that the soul has been greatly damaged, it is impossible. However, we cannot let the alchemy sect perish in my hands, so I plan to let him. The two little friends will rebuild the alchemy sect for me." "Why should we agree to you?" Ji Xiaotang was angry. Not only was she almost taken away from her, but she also gained a Taoist companion because of it. Who could she reason with? Liang Jinjuan laughed twice and said, "I will naturally give you two young friends a reward that will make them excited, such as the alchemy sect subduing skills, the alchemy inheritance, as well as many magic weapons, heaven and earth spiritual objects. And this as long as you control the formation, you two can make Liang Island rise again. This is a fourth-level spiritual mountain." "Humph, aren't all these things here? We can always find them if we search slowly, so why do we need to listen to you?" "That's right, but I can still control the formation here with the remaining power of the soul. If the idea is not clear, as long as a hole is opened, the monsters outside can enter, and the Zhenpai skills and alchemy inheritance can also be in my mind. Without me, you would never be able to get it in this life, and you can even control the formation to let the sea water pour in and completely destroy this place." Liang Jinjuan threatened lightly, and then laughed. "It's not good for us to do this, so I advise you two to agree." Shameless! Ji Xiaotang cursed. Chapter 123 The Inheritance of the Alchemy Sect. True Lord Liang didn't care. "Humph, my friend, it's wrong to talk like this. If you want to gain something, you have to pay the price. Isn't this normal? Just talk about this illusory formation. You two have experienced it. Is there no gain?" He looked at the two of them meaningfully. Wang Hao found a beautiful wife in his heart, which is really a big gain. In addition, after the two of them went through this training, their souls were greatly tested and also grew. In the future, they will no longer be affected by inner demons when they advance, which is the heart of nascent soul. The influence of the magic pass on the two of them will also be greatly weakened. After thinking about it for a while, I felt that there was nothing wrong with agreeing, but I couldn't be led by the Liang Lord, so he said, "Okay, I agreed, but my current strength is low. How about rebuilding the alchemy cauldron sect 500 years from now?" 500 years is too long. If you can't condense the nascent soul, you will be nothing but lust after 500 years. How can you fulfill your promise? Liang Zhenjuan snorted, seeming to be a little dissatisfied. But senior, if I were to say that the alchemy sect would be rebuilt right now, would you believe it? Does erecting a sign count as rebuilding? If this island rises without corresponding strength, how can it be defended? Wang Hao asked several questions in succession. Making true Lord Liang silent, after a long time, he said, "I also know this. Okay, I will give you 200 years, with my skills and guidance, plus the resources here, it will not be a problem for the two of you to form elixirs. With 2 golden elixir masters, rebuilding the alchemy sect is enough. I can allow you not to use the alchemy sect as a sign in the early stage and just pass on the Taoism of the alchemy sect." 200 years. Wang Hao thought about it in his mind. If everything goes well, it would be enough for him to reach the late stage of Jindan. It would not be difficult to establish a sect, so he nodded and agreed. "You two must swear with your Taoist hearts that if you cannot rebuild the Danding sect, you will never be able to form a nascent soul in this life." That after the two of them swore an oath, true Lord Liang laughed heartily and said, "The inheritance and array discs are all down here. You two can go search for them on your own. Both of you have connections with our alchemy cauldron sect. I leave it to you." I am relieved. In addition, I have left a big gift for you too. I wish you will form a pill as soon as possible. I have fulfilled my wish, so go. After saying that, it turned into little stars and disappeared in place. Isn't this old boy trying to trick us? Wang Hao was stunned on the spot, very unhappy. After experiencing the illusion of Wang Hao's memory fusion, Ji Xiaotang understood Wang Hao's strange words and said, "It shouldn't be the case. The Yuanying monk has extraordinary magical powers. If we don't agree, he will definitely create some trouble for us." But what this true monarch said is right. We have received the inheritance of the alchemy sect, and it is common sense to make corresponding contributions. Since we agreed, there is nothing we can do. Let's go down first and see what treasures there are. Wang Hao shook his head helplessly. The two of them stepped on the sword light and began to explore deeper. The mountain was hollow, and large and small caves were opened on the surrounding cliffs. The spiritual energy was much more abundant than the outside world. It may be used by the Danding sect to dig out and train core disciples. In about 10 breaths, the two of them reached the bottom, about 1,000 meters high. The cave is not dark, and is illuminated by various luminous stones. When they reached the bottom, they didn't see any inheritance, so they had to look for the passage on the left to continue moving forward. In order to prevent danger, Wang Hao did not take back the spirit beast, and placed 2 more puppets to explore the way ahead. The road is not smooth, there are gravels on the ground, and there are drops of stone milk on the top, but it can still be seen from the traces that this road was not formed naturally, but was developed by man. It has been like this for thousands of years without anyone taking care of it. Appearance. After many twists and turns, Wang Hao felt that the depth was getting deeper and deeper, and the spiritual energy was getting richer and richer, until he reached a huge grotto. This should be the core of the alchemy sect's formation, right? Wang Hao said, looking at a huge square formation that was shining with light. Well, look at the magic weapons placed on the array plate. Their power should be at the level of top-grade magic weapons. Only the magic weapons combined with the 4th-level array can keep the Danding sect intact even after it has sunk at the bottom of the sea for thousands of years. Ji Xiaotang said. Wang Hao looked up and saw a red gourd hanging above the array, emitting aura. He couldn't help but exclaimed, "Magic weapon. It's a pity that this magic weapon is used to support the array. As long as Danding sect doesn't float up, we can't take it away." otherwise there is a risk of collapse. It doesn't matter. We can't use it now. On the contrary, it's a crime to hold a treasure and it's easy to be targeted. Wang Hao shook his head. If it was a low-grade magic weapon, he might be able to exert some strength if he took out his true essence, but a high-grade magic weapon couldn't be activated at all. The two decided to ignore the array and continue to walk in. During this time, they encountered an array curtain. They thought they would have to work hard to break it, but Wang Hao reached out and touched it and it dissipated by itself. I don't know if it was due to disrepair or what Xuanhuan did. Then they came to a cave with a rather luxurious layout. On a jade table, Wang Hao and the others found what they wanted, a jade slip and a storage ring. The two of them first checked the jade slips. When their spiritual consciousness touched them, the contents immediately appeared in their minds. First, there was an introduction, explaining how the Danding sect became what it is now. It was similar to what Ji Xiaotang knew. It was attacked by the demon tribe, and various forces refused to support it, and finally the whole sect was destroyed. In the end, Xuanhuan was seriously injured and dying. He had no choice but to dismiss some disciples of the sect, and took the inheritance to various places, and told them that if there was a chance in the future, he would come back to rebuild the Danding sect. Then he sank the sect to the bottom of the sea. The fourth-level big monsters quickly escaped, but many third-level and low-level monsters were locked in the formation and sank with the island. These monsters slaughtered the remaining disciples of the Danding sect, and most of the monsters were also lost. The third-level monsters were almost slaughtered by Xuanhuan's dying attack. After more than 5,000 years of development, it has become what it is now. I am Lord Liang, the 36th generation leader of Danding sect. Since you have found this place, the inheritance and treasures belong to you. I hope you can fulfill your promise and rebuild Danding sect. There is a small array disk in the storage ring, which can control the opening of the large array. You can enter Danding sect in June every 50 years. Be careful, once June passes, Danding sect will sink deeper into the seabed and the array disk will not be able to sense it. You must have the first half of the sect's Red Lotus Fantasy with Heart Sutra, and the second half is in the storage ring. The complete alchemy inheritance of Danding sect is also included. The magic tools and elixirs have been consumed in the battle with the monsters, and there are not many left for you, but these few are enough for you. The spirit pool of the spirit vein. A large amount of rich spiritual water is stored in the spiritual vein. Using this water to assist in alchemy can not only increase the success rate of alchemy, but also improve the quality of the alchemy. Be careful not to accumulate spiritual water for a long time. The grade has reached the 4th grade, which will overwhelm the low-grade elixir. You should dilute it before use. In addition, I set up a 3rd-grade Luyin formation in the spiritual vein. I practiced in it for a year, but only one day in the outside world. It was originally used for healing, but the situation was out of control at that time. Alas! There are really a lot of good things. Wang Hao sighed. He didn't expect that the Red Lotus Fantasy with Heart Sutra of the Wang family actually came from the Danding sect. No wonder Xuanhuan said at that time that the two of them had a connection with the Danding sect. Could it be that the ancestor of the Wang family was also a disciple of the Danding sect? Yes, the Wang family also established a family with alchemy, and it might be possible that there is a connection. Fortunately, I didn't change my cultivation rashly after getting the Sun and Moon Wool Sutra. Otherwise, I would have wasted decades of time if I had to change my cultivation again now. Chapter 124. In the Luyin formation, the two of them poured out the things in the storage ring and explored them one by one. In addition to the exercises, the alchemy inheritance of the Danding sect made him most happy, up to the 3rd level. Including more than 10 3rd-level recipes. However, after comparing some 2nd-level elixirs, Wang Hao found that the recipes were slightly different from the current ones. Some of them replaced 1 or 2 spiritual medicines, and some replaced more. This may be the result of subsequent alchemists improving the recipes after a certain spiritual medicine became extinct. Looking at so many recipes and alchemy experiences, Wang Hao really wanted to take out the alchemy furnace to verify it at this moment, but he still held back and continued to check other things. What Xuanhuan said was right. There were not many magic weapons left. I think the masters of the sect had to face monsters at that time, and it was impossible for them to gather the magic weapons in their hands. In addition, the disciples who were dismissed at that time also took away many magic weapons, so the remaining ones were the few in Liang Jinjuan's hands. There are no fourth-level spiritual treasures. There are only a few spiritual treasures in the entire South China Sea. They are all in the hands of top sects and families. It is not strange that Danding's sect does not have one. There are 4 magic weapons in total, a silver-gray sword, a third-level top-grade magic weapon. According to the introduction, a large amount of mithril was mixed in during the refining process, making the sword body shine with silver light, hence the name. Don't underestimate these silver lights. In the blink of an eye, it can easily split mountains and rocks. The second one is called the Mtian bracelet, with a copper-yellow color, a third-level middle-grade magic weapon, a kind of imprisonment magic weapon. After activating it, it forms a Mtian soul-locking formation that can trap creatures within 100 miles. Section 65. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The third piece is the Thunder Yuan robe, which is bluish-purple in color and contains the power of thunder and lightning. When activated, it forms a lightning barrier around the body, capable of both offense and defense. It is a third-level mid-grade magic weapon. As expected, the last item is a fiery red alchemy furnace, a third-level top-grade Babel furnace that can make elixirs and can also be used as a heavy magic weapon. Among these 4 items, Wang Hao prefers the silver-gray sword and the heavenly bracelet. He has already obtained one of the magical alchemy furnaces in the earth fire room. Although the quality is not as good as the one in front of him, it is enough. In addition to magic weapons, there are also some materials. The more precious one is the 4th-level material Yang Yanjin, which is a spiritual material that can only be formed after being burned by the true fire of the sun for tens of thousands of years. It is very rare and cannot be seen much in the entire world of cultivation. The 3rd-level high-grade spiritual material, purple cloud crystal, is a kind of spiritual material accompanying the spirit stone mine, but it is countless times more precious than the spirit stone. The 3rd-level low-grade spiritual material Xuanhuan stone is an earth attribute spiritual material, and there is the Yushui stone, a 3rd-level low-grade water attribute spiritual material. There is also the ethereal bamboo planted next to the spiritual veins. According to Xinjuan Liang, after nearly 10,000 years of growth, this section has also reached the quality of 4th-level spiritual materials. In terms of elixir, there is a Yunshan fruit that Wang Hao urgently needs, a mysterious fruit that can enhance the bloodline of spirit beasts and increase the probability of advancement. It is said that the monsters attacked the alchemy sect in order to obtain this mysterious fruit tree. In addition, there are red lotus grass, fallen soul flower, Ningyin grass, morning dew flower and other 1,000-year-old elixirs, as well as a large number of 100-year-old elixirs. These things are placed near the spiritual veins and are nourished by the rich spiritual energy. Unlike those in the outside world that break when touched, Wang Hao can still use them after smelling the medicinal fragrance. As expected, the last few jade slips are the inheritance of some Danding sects, 3 techniques that can be practiced to the late stage of Jindan, a large number of foundation building techniques, and various immortal cultivation skills, with grades ranging from 1st level to 3rd level. No wait, with these things, rebuilding the alchemy cauldron sect is no longer a dream. Wang Hao values one of the swordsmanships more, called Luyun swordsmanship. If you practice it to perfection, you can transform one sword into 10,000 swords, making the enemy unable to defend against it, or you can unify 10,000 swords into one to increase its power. There is also a magical power, the golden eye technique. After practice, the eyes can see through everything, break formations, and have miraculous effects on enemies. However, the practice requires the preparation of a kind of spiritual liquid and the inner elixir of the 3rd-level monster Golden Eye Beast as the main medicine. Hunting down 3rd-level monsters is not easy. Wang Hao can't do it at the moment. He can only practice this after Wang Hao forms a pill. The 2 of them went to look at the spiritual pond and the ethereal bamboo near the spiritual veins. It was indeed as true Lord Liang said, so the treasure was simply divided into 2 parts, and both of them made a copy of the inheritance, so there was no need to divide it. Wang Hao doesn't care about the elixir. Anyway, he can produce it slowly once he gets the seeds. He doesn't need the third and fourth level things now, so there is no need to panic. So I let Ji Xiaotang choose first. Ji Xiaotang thought Wang Hao was taking care of him, so she looked at Wang Hao affectionately, and took the initiative to give him the silver grey sword and the heavenly bracelet. She chose the other two pieces. The spiritual materials were ethereal bamboo and purple cloud crystal, and the rest where it all belongs to Wang Hao. The two of them each filled half of the third-level spiritual water in jade bottles. This large pool weighed more than 2,000 kilograms, and each person received 1,000 kilograms. Each time he made the elixir, he only needed to add 1 or 2 cents, which was enough for Wang Hao to refine the third-level spiritual water. The elixir can be refined tens of thousands of times, and refining low-level elixirs requires dilution. According to the dilution ratio of 1 to 10, he can refine the second-level elixirs about 100,000 times. After taking away the spiritual water, the spiritual veins can continue to be generated. As long as this place is not destroyed, the two of them don't have to worry about not having enough spiritual water in the future. Since the flowing yin formation was available, the two decided to recover from their injuries before going out. However, activating the flowing yin formation required a kind of flowing yin stone. The piece collected by True Lord Liang was only enough for 10 days, and there were also that's 10 years, but the two of them are already very satisfied. These 10 years are enough for them to recover from their injuries, and there is still a lot of time to practice. This is the core of the fourth-level spiritual veins. Although thousands of years have passed and there has been no spiritual energy nourishment from the outside world, the fourth-level spiritual veins have not been nourished by external spiritual energy. The pulse is on the verge of downgrading, and it may take a few hundred years before it drops to the third level of high-grade spiritual veins. However, the spiritual energy is still strong at this time, and practicing here is several times more efficient than outside. The two arranged the formation. Wang Hao asked Xiaobai and Xiaoya Xiaodai to stay outside, while he took Yaya and Ji Xiaotang into the Luyin formation. Yaya was seriously injured in order to save him. If he didn't receive treatment, he might die soon, so Wang Hao decided to let Yaya take the Xuanqi fruit. Logically speaking, the Xuanhuan butterfly, which has the most powerful magical powers, has the highest value, but obviously it cannot be like this. Reason, besides, it's just a third-level fruit. In a few decades, the farm will be able to produce enough, so other spiritual beasts can just wait. In the flowing yin formation, Wang Hao held a fist-sized Xuanqi fruit that glowed with strange light. This fruit has been preserved in a jade box for thousands of years. Although it is nourished by spiritual veins, its efficacy is not as good as before. Fortunately, it was originally a third-level fruit. Even if the efficacy of the top-grade Xuanqi fruit is only 10% or 20%, it is still enough to treat Yaya. Wang Hao looked at Yaya, who was dripping with blood and had all her limbs cut off. He felt a pain in his heart. Without further delay, he gently stroked Yaya twice. She opened her eyes with great effort and saw that it was Wang Hao. There was a glimmer in her eyes. Wang Hao handed the Xuanqi fruit to Yaya's mouth and said softly, "Yaya, eat this fruit and you will be fine. The road is long and we will continue to walk together in the future." That a strong sense of survival erupted in Yaya's golden eyes. He opened his mouth slightly, and Wang Hao put the Xuanqi fruit into its mouth. Seeing that it had difficulty swallowing, he moved it into its belly with force. The Xuanqi fruit dissolved as soon as it entered the belly, slowly nourishing Yaya's body, and its body was covered with a shimmering light. The healing process was slow, so Wang Hao put it aside and began his own practice. Wang Hao and Ji Xiaotang chose one side and distanced themselves from each other. After all, their techniques were different, so when they were close, the fluctuations in their aura would inevitably affect each other. Wang Hao sat cross-legged on the ground and began to circulate the red lotus magic wood sutra. The red and green spiritual energy began to gather around his body and was slowly inhaled by him. After the technique had been run several times, Wang Hao refined the healing elixir he had taken previously and slowly recuperated his meridians and injured limbs. This process lasted for 2 years before the injuries in Wang Hao's body were completely repaired. then he took out the blue moon Xuanhuan fruit. After taking it, Wang Hao's body shimmered with light, like a peerless treasure, and then he entered a long state of meditation and refining. Chapter 125 5 Levels of Foundation Building. Wang Hao spent 5 years taking 5 blue moon Xuanhuan fruits until the effect was no longer comparable to ordinary pills. Wang Hao's had successfully entered the 5th level of foundation building. The spiritual energy here was several times richer than his previous training conditions. His cultivation speed has also increased correspondingly, and he is not far away from the 6th level of foundation building. Later, Wang Hao felt that his cultivation was a bit insubstantial again, so he stopped absorbing spiritual energy and turned to practicing magical powers. First, the phantom wood shadow splitting technique, and then the blood escape technique given to him by Ji Xiaotang. It took more than a year to practice these 2 magical powers to a small degree. The phantom wood shadow splitting technique and the Luyun sword technique are a perfect match. At the golden core stage, dozens of figures can be separated, and the combinations are ever-changing. The Luyun sword technique is so powerful that the enemy can't tell the real thing from the fake one. After that, it was time to train the body. He had already gathered the white lotus pill that was needed for the ice muscle and jade bone skill, so he decided to start refining the pill. As a 2nd-level high-grade pill, the white lotus pill was not easy to refine. Fortunately, he got the inheritance from the alchemy sect, and after reading some alchemy master's notes, he also had hope for a breakthrough. With the help of spiritual water, Wang Hao refined 3 furnaces of white lotus pills in a row and finally succeeded in refining 3 furnaces of white lotus pills. Pellets. Looking at the 3 white lotus pills that were full of fragrance, Wang Hao couldn't help but exclaimed, "As expected of me." Ji Xiaotang next to him, even though he was exercising his skills, also saw Wang Hao's process of breaking through to the 2nd-level high-level alchemist. He secretly thought that this cheap husband of his was indeed a genius. Not only had his 5 spirit root cultivation progressed so quickly, but he could also make alchemy. The spiritual fruit and elixir can be easily obtained. In the future, the 2 of them might not be able to condense their souls and go to the avenue together. Thinking of this, she couldn't help but blush a little. The spiritual energy running in her body was blocked, which scared her to calm down. Avoid getting carried away. After Wang Hao refined the elixir, he began to prepare the bath solution, a 2-pronged approach. Wang Hao never had too many ways to speed up his cultivation. When Wang Hao took out a bathtub, took off his clothes and jumped into it, Ji Xiaotang next to him almost spit out a mouthful of blood. I couldn't help but spat. "What are you doing, shameless?" "Hey, madam, don't be surprised. This is a technique practiced for my husband. It can only be effective in this way." After thinking about it, he threw a jade slip at her. "This technique is helpful for forming pills, and it can make your skin more delicate, so you might as well practice it, madam." "Bah, I don't want to practice with you. Also, don't call me madam." Ji Xiaotang blushed a little when he thought about the 2 of them being in the same bathtub. Even though the 2 of them had met each other countless times in the illusion, they were familiar with each other. Wang Hao was stunned for a moment, and then he understood and teased, "Well, where are you thinking? You and I are at different paces, so we can't practice with a bucket of medicinal liquid." Ji Xiaotang also knew that he had gone astray, and his ears were so red that they were bleeding. He immediately released a small concealment formation to hide himself, and said in a voice that seemed angry but not angry, "I won't tell you anymore, it will affect my practice." Wang Hao also began to concentrate on refining the medicinal power of the white lotus pill. Due to the improvement of his realm and the stimulation of hundreds of reincarnations in the illusion formation, his spiritual consciousness increased sharply, which was no less than that of the monks in the early stage of forming the pill. Looking inside, he discovered that some mysteries of the body, for example, at this moment, his meridians produced many mysterious silver runes under the nourishment of white lotus pill. These runes attached to his meridians actually strengthened his meridians. Is this the secret of cultivation? Wang Hao couldn't help but asked, "Isn't this just like drawing talismans and seals?" Wang Hao then condensed a fireball technique to confirm his conjecture. The magic power started from the dantian, then passed through specific meridians, and finally gathered in the palm of his hand. There were corresponding silver runes in these meridians, which were like drawing talismans. The originally invisible spiritual power was constrained into a fireball. Just like the human body is a big factory, the raw material is spiritual power, and different products can be produced through different production lines. Wang Hao made an analogy and suddenly realized, this is the case. Tool refining also needs to engrave runes. It also converts the spiritual power input by the cultivators into sword energy, sword light and other products. As long as you control these silver runes, you should make great progress in making talisman, refining weapons and even formations. But having said that, these runes are ever-changing and it is not easy to figure out what they mean. This is a long matter. It's better to temper your body quickly and improve your cultivation. Wang Hao gathered his mind and slowly refined the power of the white lotus pill. More and more silver runes were produced in his meridians. This process was not fast. About 2 or 3 of them could be produced in a day, and 1 pill could only be refined for a month. 3 months later, Wang Hao felt that the strength of his meridians had increased a lot, but it was still not enough for the ice muscle jade bone skill to break through to the 5th level, so Wang Hao started refining alchemy again and continued practicing after getting 10 white lotus pills. After refining the last pill, Wang Hao found that the meridians throughout his body began to be wrapped in a network structure composed of silver runes, faintly emitting a white light. This phenomenon also occurred when the medicinal liquid was used to temper the body during the qi refining period, but Wang Hao couldn't understand it at the time, and the medicinal effect at that time was far less effective than it is now. At this time, these silver runes are connected into a whole, sharing the same fate with the same breath. One place flashes and the whole body is linked. The tempering of the meridians is naturally several times stronger than a simple medicinal solution, especially in the dantian area. The itching, numbing and tingling sensation was no less than when building the foundation. Looking inside, Wang Hao found that the dantian wall had become crystal clear and stronger with the blessing of silver runes. The bulging feeling also disappeared. Wang Hao originally wanted to refine another batch of elixirs and continue practicing, but it was a pity that the flowing yin stone had been exhausted and they had to go out. What made him happy was that the farm was also affected by the flowing yin formation. The two superimposed, the passion fruit became ripe, and the Ning Yuan fruit became even more mature. Dozens of times, he has now accumulated hundreds of condensing yuan fruits in his warehouse. The original condensing yuan fruit tree was planted on the black soil and successfully advanced to become a 3rd-level spiritual plant, producing the condensing yuan fruit. The medicine is more powerful. In the past 10 years, not only has his cultivation improved greatly, but after seeing the alchemy inheritance of the alchemy cauldron sect, he has also improved a lot in alchemy. However, cultivation is still important. The conditions here are unique, and he will not spend his time on alchemy. When he gets out, he should be able to refine the foundation establishment pill with just a few tries. After all, he is already in the middle stage of foundation building, and his spiritual consciousness and mana have greatly increased. Refining the foundation building pill is no longer too difficult. Yaya also underwent amazing changes after refining the Xuanqi fruit. It recovered from its injuries as early as the 2nd year, and then its bloodline began to evolve under the power of the Xuanqi fruit. Just by looking at its appearance, you can see that it originally only had eyes. It was golden, but now the golden color has spread to the entire head, and even the huge duck beak has turned golden. With the power of the medicine and the abundant spiritual energy here, golden-eyed duck successfully advanced to the 2nd-level mid-level spiritual beast, and finally walked ahead of Xuanyu butterfly and ice-eyed white tiger. Quack! Seeing Wang Hao get up, the golden-eyed duck also screamed happily. It's good that you're fine. Wang Hao wanted to stroke its head, but unfortunately the golden-eyed duck's body was too tall now, and Wang Hao couldn't reach it even if he stretched out his hand. Seeing this, Yaya lowered her head and rubbed her head against Wang Hao's hand. Ji Xiaotang stood up. She had also entered the 9th level of foundation building at this time. After about 10 years of settling down and polishing her magic power, she could try to form pills. It's time for us to go out. We are safe hiding here, but we are still. If you have clan members, you can't ignore them. Speaking of his clan members, Wang Hao also thought of Wang Wenmei and the others. He saw several people injured at that time, and he didn't know how many would survive this time. Chapter 126 Recovering the Clansmen. Hey, I didn't prepare enough to enter the alchemy sect this time, which caused the tribe to be in trouble. In the final analysis, it was all because of my greed. Wang Hao smiled helplessly when he thought of his excitement when he saw the golden entrance. Who can resist the opportunity? Stay. It's not your fault. It's us. We have the information passed down by our ancestors, but who knew there were so many monsters living here? Ji Xiaotang comforted, especially the third-order monsters, we didn't know there were any. A few of them, let's go out and find the clansmen as soon as possible, and then exit this place, those treasures can wait for the next exploration. Wang Hao nodded, okay, but we have to do one thing before we go out. Wang Hao's eyes turned cold, the people from the other two families must be killed. Not many people know about the ruins here because the disciples of the alchemy sect were scattered at that time. However, thousands of years have passed, and many of them have been lost to inheritance and lost in the long river of history. Only the four golden elixir forces of Huang, Ji, Qi, and Qin came to the nearby sea hundreds of years ago and prepared to join forces to explore the ruins. However, there was a stalemate for decades over the distribution of interests. Later, the three families jointly destroyed the Huang family and redistributed the interests. However, because they lost the token controlled by the Huang family, the three families were unable to enter the ruins. It wasn't until a few years ago that the Qi family successfully imitated a token that the ruins surfaced this time. Qin, who once attacked people from the Wang family, and Qi Li also took the lead in leading the monsters to the Wang family. It can be said that Wang Hao was so seriously injured because of this person. Even without the above reasons, the secrets of the alchemy sect cannot be spread to the outside world. They may keep the secret because they want to share the benefits, and they may also betray Wang Hao and others because of the distribution of benefits. Section 66. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At that time, this place will not be an opportunity for Wang Hao and the Wang family, but a disaster. Wang Hao does not want to keep this hidden danger. Ji Xiaotang does not have much friendship with the two families. They joined forces only to explore the ruins. Wang Hao wants to kill them, and the benefits allocated to the Ji family will only increase. She naturally agrees. As for whether the Jindan ancestors of the two families will attack the Ji family, she is not worried at all. In the early years, they attacked the Huang family. Although they wiped out the Huang family, they killed 1,000 enemies and lost 800 of their own. The three families also paid a lot of lives. Not to mention that the Jindan ancestors were seriously injured, several foundation-building cultivators also died, and only a single digit of each family was left, and more than half of the chi refining people were lost, and this time, each family of Qi Qin lost 2 foundation-building people and more than 30 chi refining people, and their strength is far inferior to that of the Ji family. It's good that the Ji family didn't take the opportunity to cause trouble for them. Okay, but there are still some tribesmen left outside. Have they seen you? Thinking of this, she guessed that the tribesmen who stayed outside might have been killed by Wang Hao and others, but the two were enemies rather than friends, so there was nothing they could do. Don't worry, I only asked an uncle to guard them at that time, and I didn't kill them. Wang Hao said. That's good. Ji Xiaotang breathed a sigh of relief. There were many losses in the ruins. If there were problems with those who stayed outside, the loss of the Ji family would be too great. The two put away many treasures and arranged some secret formations at the entrance. This mountain pass does not refuse any cultivators, but can only block monsters. If other people escape here and destroy the spirit veins and the eye of the formation, the consequences will be disastrous. After arranging some precautions, the two quickly flew out of the spirit vein. Wang Hao looked at the situation of the monsters. After 10 days, the place returned to peace, but Wang Hao did not dare to fly with a sword. However, the foundation-building cultivators walked on the ground at a very fast speed. Wang Hao and Ji Xiaotang acted separately, looking for their own tribesmen respectively. Although Danning sect is not small, Wang Hao and his people have communication talismans to communicate with each other. 2 hours later, Wang Hao finally found everyone. Wang Hao concealed his cultivation level, and everyone did not notice that his cultivation level had improved by leaps and bounds. This was not to deceive them, but Wang Hao wanted to trick the other two families. The good news is that everyone's injuries were not too serious. After all, the white bear was staring at several late-stage foundation-building cultivators and Wang Hao at the time, and the low-level monsters were frightened by the white bear, giving them a chance to escape. The bad news is that one person is missing, Wang Yanlang. No matter how they contact him, they can't find him. According to Wang Yanping, he last saw Wang Yanlang being chased by 2 second-level monsters, and it is very likely that he has fallen. Not everyone is as rich as Wang Hao, who can throw a lot of talismans. Hey, life and death are determined by fate. Yanlang may be hiding somewhere. Don't be too sad. Wang Yanfeng saw that everyone was in a bad mood and took the lead in opening the conversation. Let's discuss what to do next. That everyone looked at Wang Hao, and everyone still believed in his decision more. Wang Hao's face was solemn, and he said, no matter what, we can't stay here any longer. You guys get out as soon as possible. Fifth brother, are you going to stay here any longer? Wang Wenmei said worriedly. Li Durong also said, let's go together, we've already gained a lot this time. Although the monsters here are no longer rioting, they are much more vigilant. I've been very careful these days, but I've almost been discovered by them several times. Don't persuade me, you guys go first. I have something I have to do, not only about my path, but also about you. Wang Hao wanted to touch the golden yuan fruit, which was too rare in the outside world. Even ordinary yuanying forces didn't have it. The Danding sect should have taken the lead in entering the South China Sea first, plus it was an alchemy sect. It stands to reason that it would be best to wait for the next opening in 50 years to take it, when Wang Hao would be stronger, but who knows if there would be any variables at that time. What if it was destroyed by monsters? Wouldn't it be a waste of 50 years to wait? Besides, the golden yuan fruit might not be ripe at that time. He still had to plant it, and it would take decades to harvest it. At that time, he was already over 110 years old. If the time was too long, it would be easy to slow down the pace. No matter from which aspect, it would be better to touch the seeds now. In addition, there were 3 nearly mature golden yuan fruits on it. If they could be picked, Ji Xiaotang and the old patriarch would have more hope of forming a pill. There is one more thing. We must get rid of the people from the Qi family and the Qin family. Otherwise, the secret that we have been here will be leaked, which will bring disaster. You go to the exit first. As long as you guard it, they can't run away, Wang Hao said with a smile. They have a lot of good things on them. But aren't there people from 3 families who came in? Li Durong asked in confusion. The clothes of the 3 families were different, so it was still easy to recognize them. Wang Hao coughed, made up a reason, and said, these days, I met the foundation-building cultivators of the Ji family by chance and reached an alliance. They won't say anything nonsense. And at that time, the monsters were rioting, and their Qi training disciples could not survive. Li Durong frowned and looked at Wang Hao. She felt that it would not be that simple. Is a simple alliance worth entrusting your life to? Wang Hao must have had something happen with the Ji family's foundation-building cultivators, which is why he trusted them so much. However, she would not ask too much. Wang Hao had taken good care of the Li family over the years, and it was not easy for her to interfere with the Wang families making other allies, so she said take care and led everyone to the exit to wait. Chapter 127 Wood Monster. For the other 3 families, the loss was extremely heavy, especially for the Qin family, which was almost completely wiped out, with only a few Qi training disciples left, and 2 foundation-building disciples died in the mouth of the monster. The 2 foundation builders of the Qi family miraculously survived. You should know that Qi Li and Qin Hu were targeted by the white bear at that time. Qin Hu died, but he was fine, which shows that he still has some skills. However, judging from his complexion, he was obviously injured, and there were only 8 people left in the tribe. Qi Li and a few remaining tribesmen kept hiding in Danding sect, occasionally plundering some resources. Uncle, we have shaken off that evil beast. What should we do next? Another foundation builder of the Qi family asked nervously. Qi Li thought for a while and said, almost all the Qin family cultivators who entered the ruins died, but there is still one survivor from the Ji family. I just don't know where Ji Xiaotang went. Uncle, you don't want to attack the Ji family cultivators, do you? But that's right, they have a lot of good things, we can just grab them, hee hee. Stupid. Qi Li cursed angrily. Besides our three families, there is another group of people here. If you dare to attack the Ji family, the next one to die will be our Qi family. Think about it carefully, if you have the opportunity to take all the gains from the ruins, what will you choose? It's over, I killed one of them a few days ago. The Qi family foundation immediately panicked. Then what should we do? Go to the exit first, and then wait. Wait? Yes, wait. Those of us who stayed outside must have been killed by that group of people. If we go out now, we may also be killed. So we are lying in ambush inside. As long as we join hands with the Ji family to catch the lone cultivators of the other side, we can negotiate with them and let us go. Qi Li sighed silently. This is the only chance of survival. If not, I would have taken you away long ago. On the other side, Ji Xiaotang also found her own clansmen. There were less than half of the Qi refining clansmen left. This time she brought 35 people from her family, and 10 of them were guarding outside, which means that more than 10 cultivators were lost at once. Seeing the 3 cultivators from the other 2 families following her clansmen, Ji Xiaotang drew her sword and killed them directly. Sister, what are you doing? Ji Xiaomo exclaimed when she saw Ji Xiaotang taking action. Ji Xiaotang glanced at him and said, you are just soft-hearted. If they follow us, if they don't obey orders and expose their whereabouts, we will still suffer losses. Her younger brother has good spiritual roots, but he is too simple and always trusts others. But aren't we allies? Who told you that we are allies? We just have to open this relic together. Ji Xiaotang shook his head speechlessly. Forget it, don't worry about these things. Just know that we will deal with the other 2 families next. Once you see them, don't hold back. Ji Xiaomo scratched his head with a silly smile. Sister will decide these things. I will listen to my sister. Sister doesn't know that they have asked me everything these days, which is almost annoying me. Ji Xiaotang sighed. This brother is hopeless. If she leaves the Ji family, who can support the family business? Shaking her head to dispel these thoughts, Ji Xiaotang called on the tribe to move towards the exit. On the other side, Wang Hao avoided the monsters all the way and came to the spiritual medicine garden again, lighting the hidden spirit incense given by Li Durong. While restraining his own spiritual fluctuations, Wang Hao began to approach the Xuanhuan fruit tree. This place is above the mountainside, surrounded by clouds and mist, and has abundant spiritual energy. The place chosen by Danding's sect to plant the Xuanhuan fruit tree must be good. The mountain was quiet, so quiet that it was scary. Wang Hao found that the 3rd-level white bear was not here, and there was only a 2nd-level monster skull nearby, but Wang Hao observed for a while and did not find the monster. What's going on? The map can't be wrong. The skull is clearly near the Xuanhuan fruit tree, why can't I see it? Wang Hao carefully observed the surroundings for a while, but still could not find any traces of the monster. No matter what, take the Xuanhuan fruit and run. With my current cultivation, there is no need to worry about a 2nd-level middle-grade monster. Wang Hao made up his mind and decided to use force. However, his idea made him suffer a lot in the next action. When he sneaked near the Xuanhuan fruit tree, the towering trees around him, which were originally normal, suddenly came alive and stretched out branches and roots to entangle him. Wang Hao was caught off guard and was tightly entangled by the tree roots under his feet before he could react. Those tree roots twisted around him and tightened him like a python, making it difficult for him to breathe. Wood monster? Wang Hao suddenly realized that it was no wonder that he had not been able to find the whereabouts of the monster after observing for so long. It turned out that the wood monster was the best at hiding. It was just unclear whether it was a tree monster or a vine monster. If it was a tree monster, Wang Hao could easily control it as long as he found its body. After all, it was only a 2nd-level middle-grade monster and could not move its body freely. at this moment of life and death, he did not care about hiding anything. He suddenly urged the red lotus true fire, and a blazing red flame came out of his body, instantly burning the tree roots that were wrapped around him into ashes. When the red lotus true fire reached the middle stage of foundation building, it was even more powerful and could burn everything. The opponent was only a second-level middle grade one, and was not very strong. Although it had many tree roots, it was burned to ashes before it could get close. A towering tree 100 feet away suddenly shook, and countless leaves fell from the treetops. A green light flashed on the trunk, and a bulge appeared. The bark of the bulge cracked into 3 cracks, revealing 2 huge green eyes and a huge mouth. The eyeballs were abnormally green, without a trace of emotion, looking at Wang Hao coldly, and blowing a breath gently from his mouth. At this time, the trees in the entire spiritual medicine garden seemed to come alive. All the trees and ancient vines seemed to have turned into tree monsters and vine monsters. They rushed towards Wang Hao like moths to a flame, and they didn't care even if they were burned to ashes by the raging flames. Wang Hao snorted coldly, "You dare to show off your skills in front of an expert? Let me see how many limbs you can burn." As he said that, he condensed true fire with his hands, forming a huge fire cover around his body, and all the invading vines were burned to ashes. If Wang Hao was still only at the 3rd level of foundation building, he could only protect himself and couldn't do anything to it, but Wang Hao was now at the 5th level of foundation building. Just some vines and tree roots, as many as they came, they would be burned. The spiritual medicine garden was ablaze. The wood monster began to use its body to attack Wang Hao. Its limbs were all 2nd-level medium-grade spiritual wood, which was much stronger. Wang Hao was a little unable to cope with the dense roots entangled, so he had to fly into the air temporarily. After leaving the ground, the roots of the wood monster lost their function, and only some vines were still attacking Wang Hao, but these no longer posed a threat to Wang Hao. The wood monster's green eyes turned, and it quickly intercepted hundreds of spiritual woods and turned them into green spears. Although Wang Hao avoided the attack of the tree roots in the air, he also became a living target. There was a loud sound of swoosh swoosh breaking through the air, and those green spears shot directly at Wang Hao in the sky. Although these spiritual woods have not been processed by the weapon refiner, they are also real 2nd-level middle-grade spiritual materials with extraordinary attack power, but their speed is too slow. Wang Hao's figure shook and turned into 3 figures. The mother and child green light swords in his hands danced wildly, turning into thousands of sword chi, and the sword chi and the green spears began to collide. Some of the green spears were smashed by the sword light, while others easily passed through the sword light and smashed a figure of Wang Hao. Those sword lights and Wang Hao were obviously fake, while Wang Hao's appeared in the distance. The wood monster's strenuous attack did not hurt the enemy at all, and its body shook with anger. Chapter 128. A deal was reached. The wood monster looked at Wang Hao angrily and reluctantly put away the attack. If all these spiritual trees were destroyed by Wang Hao, it would lose nutrients and there would be no possibility of advancement. It would grow too slowly by relying on its own production. The only hope for creatures like them to advance is plunder. This wood monster is also very smart. As a wood creature, the trees and flowers in the entire spiritual medicine garden are its spies. Wang Hao should have been discovered long ago, but it did not act early. After all, although it is well informed, its strength is limited, and it cannot control trees that are too far away from its main body, so it waited until Wang Hao approached the core of the spiritual medicine garden before it attacked fiercely. If it were an ordinary cultivator, even one in the late stage of foundation building, he would probably have been defeated. But unfortunately, he met Wang Hao, who had the natural means to restrain it. Section 67. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. This wood demon did not expect that a human cultivator would be so difficult to deal with, especially the red flame. Even its body trembled slightly after the flame appeared, as if it had encountered its natural enemy, and silently turned the human race into an existence that could not be provoked. In fact, it had little experience. It had been staying in the spiritual medicine garden since it was born. It had never seen a human cultivator, and it didn't know that there were only a handful of cultivators with such powerful true fire. The wood demon was very frightened. It wanted to kill Wang Hao and eliminate the hidden danger, but it was afraid of the power of the Red Lotus True Fire. It was afraid that it would be destroyed in the end. The two of them were deadlocked. No matter what you are, as long as you don't interfere with me taking the spiritual medicine, we will not interfere with each other, Wang Hao began to discuss with the wood demon. Although he was confident that he could find the wood demon's body and eventually kill it, it would definitely take a long time. Too much noise would attract the attention of other monsters, and it would be troublesome to attract the third-level monster. In addition, this wood monster can easily control the spiritual plants. Wang Hao is afraid that it will destroy the Xuanhuan fruit tree before he gets the Xuanhuan fruit, which Wang Hao cannot tolerate. The big tree in front of Wang Hao shook its body vigorously, as if to express refusal. Wang Hao continued, "Don't worry, I won't take any spiritual plants away. As long as there are 2 fruits, the others will not be touched. You should know that it is not good for you and me to continue the stalemate. Attracting other monsters is my trouble, but at the same time, they will also covet the spiritual fruits and herbs in this spiritual medicine garden. In the chaos, how many plants can you keep?" Wang Hao began to persuade him with reason and emotion. Compared with monsters, this kind of wood creature will have higher intelligence. Wang Hao believes that it can understand. After all, this is just a small world, and the spiritual veins are also degenerating. Even if you absorb the wood essence of the entire spiritual medicine garden, the highest is only the 3rd level. If you want to grow to the 4th level, you must go to the wider world outside. You can't get out by yourself, but it doesn't matter. I can help you, but at the same time you must understand that there is no free lunch in the world. I can help you get to this world, and you must also show your sincerity. Wang Hao began to make promises, and he didn't believe that this guy could hold back. Sure enough, the wood monster's mind began to loosen, and the branches swayed and rustled. After a while, several fruits were lifted by a vine and sent to Wang Hao. Wang Hao took a look and smiled. "This 2nd-level spiritual fruit is not of much use to me, and your sincerity is a little insufficient." The vine took back the spiritual fruit, but did not leave, as if to ask Wang Hao what he needed. "I want the Xuanhuan fruit." Wang Hao pointed to the golden fruit tree in the center of the spiritual medicine garden. The wood monster thought for a moment, and the vines rolled up 2 golden yuan fruits. When Wang Hao was about to touch them, it immediately took them back. "Are you afraid that I will not keep my promise? I can swear with my Tao heart that I will definitely take you away from here within 100 years. Are you satisfied now?" Wang Hao stared at the vines bent slightly and then handed over the golden yuan fruit. Wang Hao secretly breathed a sigh of relief. This treasure is finally in hand. As for the oath, he really intends to take the wood monster out. This kind of wood monster has very useful magical powers. If it can be subdued, it will definitely be a good helper to explore the way and stop the enemy. The wood monster had no idea that Wang Hao had been planning to take advantage of it from the beginning, and it foolishly believed in Wang Hao's so-called Tao heart oath. After putting away the golden yuan fruit, Wang Hao felt very happy. With the seeds, he could practice to the Jindan stage with peace of mind, and he didn't have to take the risk of hunting monsters. In the future, this kind of work can be handed over to other foundation-building people in the Wang family, and he can practice with peace of mind. When Wang Hao rushed to the exit, he found that Ji Xiaotang, Li Durong and others were hiding nearby. It seemed that they had met and were preparing to ambush the Qi family monks together. Seeing Wang Hao, the 2 of them showed up, but they kept their distance on purpose, as if they were very distrustful. This was normal. After all, the 2 had no intersection, and Wang Hao didn't think much about it. "We have been guarding here for a long time, but we haven't found anyone from the Qi family. Are we going to wait forever?" Li Durong said first. Wang Hao thought for a while. "I don't think the other party will be stupid enough to come out and die. If we use a trick to lure them out, it will not only work or not, but there are also many inconveniences in this ruins. If we are not careful, it will attract the attention of the monsters. I think we should go out first and wait for them outside." Ji Xiaotang nodded and said, "In 3 days, this place will sink again. If the Qi family does not come out, they can only stay here with the monsters. In this case, we will go out and wait for them for 3 days. Everyone packed up and stepped into the yellow light curtain one by one. In the distance, on a big tree, Qili held a magical weapon with a glittering light in his hand, which could see the actions of Wang Hao and others clearly. If Wang Hao was here, he would definitely recognize the function of this thing, which is very similar to the telescope of Blue Star. Qili punched the tree trunk. The Ji family is very good, and they actually joined forces with this group of outsiders. Another foundation building said, this Ji family, they were the ones who instigated the destruction of the Huang family back then. Now all the people sent by the Qin family are dead. If they destroy us, they can not only dominate the ruins, but also take advantage of the situation to attack our family residence. We must have someone break out to inform the family, otherwise the consequences will be disastrous. But what should we do? We can't stay here, the island will sink. A clan member was like a bereaved parent. They, the Qi training clan members, originally thought that this was a good job and could get the opportunity to build a foundation. Who would have thought it would be so dangerous, and now they can't even go back. Stop howling. Wait for 2 days and then we will break out. I still have 3 thunder seeds in my hand. As long as we avoid their first wave of attacks, it will not be difficult for us to escape. The dim light ball spun around a few times in his hand. Seeing this, the clan members finally gained some confidence. Tian Lizi, few below the golden core level could withstand it. It's not that invincible. This thing has to be thrown, but who would stand there stupidly waiting for you to explode? If you avoid Tian Lizi's explosion range, it won't be a big deal. However, if you are trying to cover your escape, it is still very useful to throw in a few to block the opponent's support. On the small island, the Qi practitioners of the Li family noticed a fluctuation in the air. Several elders appeared one after another and hurriedly shouted, "The elders are back, the elders are back." After hearing this, Wang Yanfeng hurriedly flew forward. When he saw Wang Hao and others, he said hurriedly, "You are finally back. These past 10 days have made me very worried." But Wang Yanfeng looked around and didn't see Wang Yanlang. His face suddenly darkened. Everyone came out. There was no reason to leave Yanlang alone inside. He seemed to have guessed the result and asked unwillingly, "Yanlang, where's Lang?" Chapter 129 Dividing the Spoils. Wang Yanping sighed, "Bago, we encountered a lot of high-level monsters inside and got separated from Yanlang. We searched for him for several days but couldn't find him. I think." He lowered his head unbearably. The messenger talisman could not reach him, so they searched in the direction where Wang Yanlang fled. The chance of survival was already very low. Wang Yanfeng looked sad. One of his younger brothers was gone. They may not have had a deep relationship before, but they have been at sea for so long and have been together day and night. They are not hard-hearted people, so how could they not feel a little bit? However, when he saw that there were outsiders, he quickly suppressed his sadness and asked, "Who is this fellow Taoist?" Wang Hao introduced, "This is Fairy Ji Xiaotang. In the future, we will become an alliance with the Ji family to jointly develop the ruins here." It turns out to be Fairy Ji. I, Wang Yanfeng, have met the fairy. Upon hearing that Wang Hao had found an alliance for his family, Wang Yanfeng also attached great importance to it and quickly greeted him. "This is not the place to talk. Let's go to the ship first." Wang Hao stretched out his hand to stop him. "Eighth uncle, don't be busy, there are still people inside. We must guard the exit to prevent them from escaping." After speaking, he looked at the monks from the 3 families who were tied together. "Let the Ji family people go." "Okay, let others handle it." The monks panicked one after another, and some who were unwilling to be killed begged, "Ah, no, senior, I am willing to abandon the dark side and turn to the bright side to serve you, please spare my life." They originally saw Ji Xiaotang, Wang Hao and others coming out together and thought they were safe. Who could have imagined that the situation would turn around so quickly? No one is a soft-hearted person. Wang Yanfeng, who was in grief, took it upon himself to kill a group of Qi training monks. The frightened people in the Ji family hid behind Ji Xiaotang, trembling and extremely embarrassed. Then Wang Hao asked everyone to take turns to rest and stare at the entrance in batches. Until the last day, the entrance will be closed, and the alchemy sect will sink again. If the Qi family does not come out, they will have to wait for the next opening. Living in the ruins of the alchemy sect full of monsters, the possibility of survival is not impossible. But it must be very low. People from the Qi family were gathering at the exit. Qi Li's face was solemn. After I go out and throw the Tianlaizi, you will escape separately, one by one if you can. After you escape, inform the family immediately and inform the family of what is going on here. Let the family be careful about the Qi family. Everyone in the Qi family nodded quickly and took out their magic weapons and talismans. Seeing that everyone was ready, Qi Li shouted, "Let's go." After saying that, he dived into the entrance. As soon as he showed his head, he saw 3 spiritual lights coming towards him. Dodge immediately. Fortunately, he defended himself in advance, but the blows from the 3 early foundation builders did not hurt him. I have long expected that you will ambush here and want to keep me here, but you don't have the ability yet. Really? Ji Xiaotang immediately flew out of the ship after hearing the noise. Seeing Qi Li's nonsense, he immediately took out his flying sword and attacked. Qi Li's eyes were gloomy. If it were in the past, he would definitely have a good fight with her to let her know how powerful he is, but now his most important thing is to buy time for his clan members. He took out the flying sword in his left hand to parry the attack, and clasped 3 thunderbolts in his right hand, preparing to hit those who surrounded him hard. At this time, 3 foundation-building monks from the Wang and Li Ji families were surrounding them one after another. Qi Li knew that he could not waste time. He targeted the 3 early-stage foundation-building monks and was about to throw Tianlaizi out when he felt as if his consciousness was being torn apart. Pain, his brain roared for a moment, and then a sword with a green light was inserted into his chest. Why? Qi Li asked unwillingly. Wang Hao flew to him and said with a smile, "If you had run away earlier, you might have caused some trouble, but your mistake was just that you hesitated for a few seconds longer." At that time, he saw Qi Li staring viciously at the foundation-building monks of the Wang and Li families. He thought that this old boy must have some killer moves, so he didn't hesitate and directly killed him with the God-splitting cone, but what Wang Hao didn't expect was that Qi Li didn't die directly after taking a hit. Fortunately, he successfully used the Zimu Qingguang sword to make a last hit. This made Wang Hao realize that spiritual attacks may not completely kill the enemy. The higher the level of a monk, the stronger the spiritual consciousness. Even if some damage is affected, it will not be fatal instantly. Without Qi Li, the rest of the Qi family were just meat on the chopping board. Wang Hao and the others killed them without any effort. At first they were hiding, but the Danding sect reached the ceiling time and began to sink. The exit began to collapse, and they were so scared that they ran out one by one. Then they watched the entrance reclosed and the Danding sect sank into the sea again. Okay, this matter is over. Let's come again in 50 years. It was time for everyone to say goodbye. Ji Xiaotang led the Ji family monks to say goodbye first. "Dear Taoist friends, welcome to visit the Cancer Island Ji family when you are free." "Goodbye." Wang Hao smiled and said, "Well, you go back first. I will visit Senior Ji in a few days." Ji Xiaotang glanced at him and her face turned red. She was saying goodbye. What was he talking about? Others didn't think it was a big deal. Since the Wang family made friends, it was normal to visit them. But Li Durong saw that the two of them exchanged glances frequently and Ji Xiaotang looked like she was ashamed and angry. She felt that it was a bit abnormal, but there were still a lot of things to worry about, so she didn't pay too much attention. The Qi family and the Qin family were gone, but a lot of things were left behind. The Ji family only took some of the spiritual medicines, and their magic tools and ships were left to the Wang family and the Li family. A medium-sized ship is worth 400,000 or 500,000 spiritual stones, and a small ship is also worth tens of thousands. The two families have made a lot of gains this time, not to mention the gains in the ruins. Individual income does not need to be divided, the main thing to be divided is the collective income. There are 2 ships, one large and one small. It is reasonable that 1 ship per family will be enough, but the value difference is huge. If it is only twice the difference, Li Didao and Li Durong will tolerate it. After all, they rely on Wang Hao a lot. and it's okay to suffer a little loss. How do you think about this? We calculate the value and then divide the spiritual stones. Whoever chooses the larger one will have to provide the other family with 150,000 spiritual stones. 150,000 spiritual stones, where can we get it? Li Didao said with a frown. Wang Hao smiled and said, my Wang family can't afford it either, but don't we still have monster materials and what we got from the ruins? Let's pay for them together. Li Durong and Li Didao discussed that if they wanted a medium-sized sea ship, then almost all of the other gains would be divided among the Wang family. Now that they have a sea ship, the Li family can't go out to sea to hunt monsters, because they don't have enough manpower. It's better to get a small one, so that they will have more spiritual stones in their hands. They are just about to go back to Qingyafang, and they can bring some back to show the family what they have gained overseas. Section 68. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Li Durong said, we just need that small sea ship. I wonder if the Wang family is going to pay with spirit stones or materials, so we can prepare early. Wang Yanfeng said, the animal skin was originally for your Li family to make talismans. Apart from this part, there are more than 110,000 spirit stones. Uncle Ba, don't rush to calculate. Let's talk about it after we return to the market and sell some of the goods in our hands. Wang Hao looked at the people of the Li family. Don't worry, everyone, the spirit stones will definitely be paid to the Li family before returning to Qingyafang. Brother Hao's character, I, Li Didao, naturally trusted. Wang Hao nodded slightly. He actually wanted to go back to refine the foundation building pill and use it to settle the bill. There were too many Ningyuan fruits in the warehouse, and it was not easy to sell them. He could only find a way to digest a batch internally. I believe that the Li family will also agree to this settlement method. The foundation building pill is a hard currency. Even in Wanxiang City, you can't buy it without some connections. Then the common gains in the ruins were distributed. In fact, everyone worked together to explore one place, the Sutra Pavilion, which was naturally easy to divide. All the usable jade slips were copied. In addition, there were chi storage bags. Qi Li and another foundation building cultivator had a total of 8 storage bags, and one of them was Wang Yanlang's. The truth was revealed. Wang Yanlang must have been killed and robbed after encountering them. In this case, the Wang family would take back this storage bag, so only the 7 storage bags of the Qi family needed to be distributed. Chapter 130 Return. At that time, Ji Xiaotang was in a hurry to leave, so he just randomly picked 2 to take away, leaving 5. The person was killed by Wang Hao. Although Li Didao wanted to fight for the interests of the family, he also had to have a good relationship with the Wang family, so he also selected 2 after discussing with Li Durong. As for what was in it, it depended on God's will. After the division was completed, everyone decided to set off. There were too few people, and there were not enough people to operate 3 ships, so they had to tow the small one. And the Wang and Li families drove a medium-sized ship. After a cup of tea, the 3 ships slowly set off and began to head towards Wanxiang City. Seeing that the driving was stable, Wang Hao left 2 Qi training clan members to guard and let several foundation building people enter the cabin. In the cabin, Wang Hao, Wang Yanfeng, Wang Yanping, Wang Wenmei, and Wang Wenwu sat together. Wang Hao threw several storage bags on the table, said, each person can keep half of the harvest in the ruins, and the other half needs to be handed over to the family. Do you have any objections? That everyone nodded. This was all agreed in advance. Even if they didn't say it, they would hand over most of it to the family, especially those exercises. They were not casual cultivators. What's the use of holding them in their own hands? Let the clan members practice, and the family will be strong. This is the right thing to do. Well, let's start with Uncle Yanlang's storage bag. Although Wang Yanlang was assassinated, he still deserved a share, which could be passed on to his direct descendants. But in the same way, in addition to his personal share, the rest of his storage bag had to be handed over to the family. Wang Hao opened Wang Yanlang's storage bag in front of everyone to prove his innocence. Although they all belonged to the same family, private property was inviolable, otherwise it would make the monks of the family feel disappointed. and no one would be willing to work for the family. Wang Yanlang's storage bag had been cracked once by the Qi family, and now the sole imprint on it belonged to the Qi family. Wang Hao cracked it again and poured out all the things in the storage bag. There were really a lot of things. After all, Wang Yanlang also picked a lot of spiritual medicines and hunted several monsters in the ruins. Wang Hao took the moon-breaking knife in his hand. This spiritual weapon was given to Wang Yanlang by him. Hey, these magic tools are all Uncle Yanlang's private property, so just pack them back. Wang Hao put things into the storage bag one by one. Except for the moon-breaking blade, they were all first-level magic tools. The pills and talismans are also personal property. Wang Hao put the pills and talismans on the table back into the storage bag again. Wang Hao asked others to identify which things belonged to Wang Yanlang personally. After sorting them out, only monster materials and spiritual medicines, as well as a few jade slips, were left on the table. These should be what Uncle Yanlang got in the ruins. Wang Hao sighed and said, according to the 50-50 split, Uncle Yanlang's share is about 12,000 spirit stones. I decided to give him spirit stones directly, so that his descendants can use them. Everyone nodded when they heard this. Behind every foundation building cultivator is a big family. After returning, they will inevitably fight for the inheritance. It is easier to divide it with spirit stones. As long as these small family affairs are not too much, the family will generally not care. Wang Hao repacked the storage bag and handed it to Wang Yanfeng. Wang Yanfeng checked it and handed it to Wang Yanping. Wang Yanping also took a look and confirmed that the things inside were correct before sealing it. Wang Hao had already told them that they would go back to Qingyefang, but it was impossible for everyone to go back. The round-trip fare was over 10,000, and they really couldn't afford it. So this time only Wang Hao went back. Wang Yanlang's things naturally had to be brought back by him, so it would not be appropriate for him to put a ban on it. Everyone knew that Wang Hao looked down on these things, but Wang Yanlang's family members might not think so. To avoid trouble, it was better for others to seal it. Wang Yanfeng put a ban on the storage bag, and Wang Yanping put another layer on the storage bag. After dealing with Wang Yanlang, Wang Hao took out his own storage bag, released the ban, and let everyone check it. What he got from the spiritual veins was naturally his own, and he would personally hand over the skills to Wang Yanzhao and Wang Guang'an. The fewer people who knew about this kind of thing, the better, and he would not tell everyone unnecessarily, so the things he took out were just some spiritual medicines and monster materials. Others followed suit and took out their own harvests. Wang Yanfeng was very envious. He was safe and leisurely outside, but at the same time he had lost his chance. Seeing this, Wang Hao smiled and said, Uncle 8, you have guarded the way out for everyone, so you will naturally get a share of these things. That the others naturally agreed, which made Wang Yanfeng smile sheepishly. Everyone's storage bags were all similar, containing elixirs and monster materials. After all, they only had access to these. However, Wang Hao felt that everyone had secrets to some extent. After all, human nature is like this. Didn't he also hide secrets and not tell everyone? The jade slips will naturally be handed over to the family, and then they will be rewarded for their contribution. It will not cost them any contribution to check these things. He simply took out half of the supplies from each person, and then took another part to supply Wang Yanfeng. Everyone is very satisfied with this division. Everyone can more or less get something worth more than 10,000 spirit stones. Wang Wenmei has more of it. She has been following Wang Hao. In order to take care of her, Wang Hao gave her many things they discovered together. Wang Hao just collect the seeds. In addition, there are many things in the Earth Fire Palace that the two of them explored, especially the Cauldron Alchemy Furnace. The starting magic weapon level is 200,000 spiritual stones. With the quality of the alchemy furnace, they will be put up for auction. It is possible to sell it for 300,000 to 400,000. Wang Hao kept this alchemy furnace for his own use, so he did not take it out. He would just give some compensation to Wang Wenmei later. Wang Wenmei also kept it secret and tacitly knew about it. She could only build the foundation because of Wang Hao's care. Besides, Wang Wenmei Hao has contributed so much to the family. What's the point of taking a pill furnace? It's just to hand it over to the family treasury and not use it in the future for Wang Hao to use. After dividing them among everyone, only the storage bags obtained from the Qi family were left. In addition to the 350-square storage bags carried by the 2 foundation building monks in Qi, there were also 10-square storage bags from many Qi practitioners. Half of these should be given to the family, and the rest should be distributed among everyone. Even though they knew that there might be many treasures in these storage bags, everyone was still shocked when they opened them. Wang Wenmei asked, "How come these people have so many treasures?" Wang Hao said, "Both of them are monks in the middle stage of foundation construction. Their family wealth is much richer than yours. Moreover, they know something about the ruins. It is normal for them to find more good things than us." Wang Yanping looked at the dozen or so gleaming spiritual weapons and his eyes were filled with excitement. They must have found the treasure house of the alchemy cauldron sect. "It's very possible," Wang Hao nodded and smiled. "Okay, let's each pick one piece first, and the rest will be handed over to the family." There are 13 spiritual weapons in total. Everyone picks one and there are 9 left. If they pick 2, only 3 are left. Everyone is contented and agreed to this. After all, they can pick first. Wang Hao looked at Wang Yanfeng and said, "Uncle Eighth is guarding outside. If you don't get a chance, I'll let you pick first." Wang Yanfeng declined embarrassedly. Wang Wenwu said urgently, "Uncle Eighth, please hurry up and choose. We can only choose if you choose. I am really anxious." Then Uncle Eight has chosen." Wang Yanfeng picked up a yellow alchemy furnace, which was a high-grade spiritual weapon. It was unknown whether it was from the alchemy sect's treasure house or from the Qi family. "I choose this alchemy furnace." "Okay, then who will choose the second one?" Wang Wenwu looked at Wang Hao, couldn't help rubbing his hands, and stared at a shining golden rod-shaped spiritual weapon. "If you're so anxious, just make your choice. Anyway, you're a physical practitioner, so you won't conflict with everyone else." Wang Hao said with a smile. Chapter 131 Refining the Foundation Building Pill. "Thank you, fifth brother." Wang Wenwu took the golden rod directly and couldn't help but rub it back and forth with his hands. "Heavy high-grade spiritual weapon, seventh brother has a good eye." Wang Hao praised. "Look at the name of this spiritual weapon." Wang Wenwu hurriedly poured spiritual power into it, and saw a flash of golden light, and 3 big characters appeared on the end of the golden stick, "Gold-plated stick." Golden stick, what a name! What a treasure! Wang Wenwu was obviously very satisfied with the name. He almost lost sight of the name as he smiled so hard that he hid aside and studied it carefully without caring about what others would share next. The others couldn't help but shake their heads and smile bitterly. Among them, Wang Wenwu was the purest, and he never had those twists and turns in his heart. Wang Hao then looked at Wang Yanping. Said, "Uncle 19, you choose next." Wang Yanping carefully observed the treasures on the table. He was established in the family and was assigned a spiritual weapon. Moreover, he had been trained by the family for decades. He was excellent in all aspects. The spiritual stone was naturally not like Wang Yanlang's. Wang Wenwu and other foundation-building monks who were forcefully fed by Wang Hao were in short supply, so he had already purchased a spiritual weapon for himself. Now that he was not lacking in both offense and defense, he wanted to choose a speed-type spiritual weapon. Seeing a pair of yellow boots, Wang Yanping was moved. He picked them up and injected spiritual power into them to inspect them. He smiled with satisfaction and said, "Wind-chasing boots, I want these." The other 2 chose high-grade spiritual weapons, but his was a mid-grade spiritual weapon. Not to mention, it also depends on the individual's compatibility. The higher the level, the better. Only Wang Wenmei was left. Wang Hao looked at her and said, "Wenmei, which one do you choose?" Wang Wenmei now only has a flying sword weapon in her hand, which is strong in offense and weak in defense. Logically speaking, she should choose a defensive weapon, but instead she focused on a fan that exudes colorful light. This fan seems to be made of several kinds of feathers. Made, very beautiful. The colorful fan is a high-grade spiritual weapon. It can launch attacks from the 5 elements. It is very balanced, but it also makes the various attacks less powerful. Wang Hao took a look and said seriously, "You must choose well, you can't regret it." Xuanhuan gritted her teeth, "I want this. Anyway, I can get a lot of spiritual stones this time. I will buy 2 more defensive spiritual weapons later." "Haha, I forgot, now you are also a little rich woman." Wang Hao laughed twice, and then put away the spiritual weapons on the table. "Okay, now that you have chosen, I will do the rest." It's been put away. Uncle Yanlang should also share one. However, his immediate family members have poor spiritual roots, and there is little hope for foundation building. There is no need to give them spiritual weapons. It is better to record this matter and wait until a foundation building monk is found among them. The family supplies him with 2 spiritual weapons at a time. That's very good. Wang Yanfeng was also satisfied with Wang Hao's handling, and asked again, "Wen Hao, why don't you choose one? There are so many more, and if you take them back to the family, they will be placed in the family treasury." Wang Hao smiled and said, "I have many spiritual weapons in my hand, and there is no shortage of them. And Uncle 8, don't think that 9 spiritual weapons are many." After encouraging fertility, the number of monks in my Wang family began to increase. In the future, the number of foundation-building monks will also increase. These spiritual weapons will be consumed soon. Don't say it's far away, just say that when I go back this time, I'm going to buy foundation-building pills. I'll let Wen Yan and the others build the foundation first, and then I'll go back to Qingyafang and bring some Qi-training tribesmen. The family is prosperous only because of the 5th brother. Wang Wenmei and Wang Wenwu were especially grateful to Wang Hao. If Wang Hao had not brought them out, they would not have been able to build the foundation of the family in a short period of time. Okay, let's not say these words. Wang Hao has helped the Wang family a lot, but he has also sold a lot of farm output through the Wang family's shop in recent years, in exchange for a large amount of spiritual stones and immortal cultivation resources. These are complementary to each other. Wang Hao is strong, but does he dare to go out to sea to hunt monsters alone? Not to mention evil cultivators and so on, even piles of monsters would kill him. There is also the problem of the store. Can Wang Hao support the entire store by himself? No other member of the Wang family could help him, and he would have to be exhausted to death. He now earns the most profits and does the easiest job. The people of the Wang family still respect him very much and are grateful. Besides, he only helped the Wang family casually and did not delay his own cultivation. It was just a matter of refining a few batches of foundation-building pills. How long could he delay his cultivation? Wenmei, Wenwu, you go to the deck to take care of it first. Wait for the 2 clan uncles to refine the treasures before you come down. Wang Hao looked at Wang Yanfeng and Wang Yanping again. 2 clan uncles, I'm checking the elixir in the ruins. Ding Zong's alchemy skills have occasionally yielded results, so I'm going to stay in seclusion for a while. Oh, is Wen Hao going to have another breakthrough in his alchemy skills? Wang Yanfeng was very envious. At first, his alchemy skills were much better than Wang Hao's. Who would have thought that in just more than 10 years, Wang Hao would be so far behind more than him? It's hard to predict a breakthrough, but you have to give it a try. 5th brother, then go quickly, we will guard the ship, don't worry. Wang Wenmei said. Section 69. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wang Hao said goodbye to everyone and came to a secret room in the cabin to prepare the foundation building pill. He originally planned to go back to Wanxiang City to refine it, but because he was towing a sea ship, the speed was a bit slower. It would be a waste if he didn't use the 2 months. Wang Hao took out a red pill furnace. This was the red maple furnace he got when he and Chu He and others were looking for a cave of a foundation building cultivator. His current mana can activate the magic weapon level pill furnace, but the time will not be too long. In order to avoid accidents, it is best to use this 2nd level middle grade pill furnace to refine the foundation building pill. Then he took out a condensed fruit and a large amount of auxiliary medicine. The condensed fruits he has now accumulated are enough to refine 100 furnaces, and then he has to wait for new spiritual medicines to mature. A batch of condensed fruits can be harvested every year, which is high-yielding, but the borage requires a long time, and it takes 7 years to harvest a batch. The yield of this second-level spiritual medicine is only 30 plants per acre, which means that if he plants 1 acre, he can refine 30 furnaces of foundation-building pills in 7 years. Wang Hao harvested a batch in his early years and stopped planting, resulting in only 30 furnaces of foundation-building pills now. Wang Hao secretly said that he must make a good plan in the future to avoid such incidents of lack of certain spiritual medicines. Wang Hao has never refined a foundation-building pill, so he is not sure, and he is prepared to fail several times. But he has successfully refined the second-level top-grade pill White Lotus pill, so he still has confidence. Wang Hao took a deep breath, closed his eyes to rest, and meditated to regulate his breath. Half an hour later, he adjusted his state to the best before starting to refine the foundation-building pill. Since learning to draw talismans, he has paid more and more attention to these seemingly useless details. Wang Hao's eyes flashed, and he cast a spell into the red maple furnace. The red maple furnace grew in the wind and fell to the center of the room with a bang. Wang Hao released a fire lotus with his left hand. With a muffled puff, a large piece of red flame emerged from thin air and covered the bottom of the red maple furnace. In the early stage of his foundation building, his mana was low and he could not use his true fire to refine pills. In that way, refining a furnace of pills might consume all his mana, causing his body to be very tired. Now, his mana has increased several times, and the quality of the red lotus true fire has also improved a lot. He can refine pills with less mana consumption, and naturally he no longer needs the assistance of spiritual carbon. As the temperature rises, the red maple furnace also becomes hot, and the red maple leaves on the surface become red, which is very beautiful. Wang Hao saw that the furnace was almost preheated, so he took out a condensed fruit, cast a spell, and threw it into it, peeling, extracting the liquid medicine, and then the auxiliary medicine. Wang Hao stared at the furnace with concentration, adjusting the flame temperature at all times, and finally adding the diluted third-level spiritual water. Chapter 132. Something happened in the store. 5 days later, there was a burst of noise, and Wang Hao began to clean the burnt furnace helplessly. The first refining still failed. Compared with the 8 spiritual medicines in the White Lotus pill, the foundation-building pill had more than 20, which was too complicated. There would be repulsion between the various spiritual medicines, causing the pill liquid to be violent and difficult to condense. Even Wang Hao, who had a strong consciousness, could not bear it. No wonder the big forces would let the third-level alchemist refine the foundation-building pill, not only to increase the success rate of the pill, but also for these reasons. However, Wang Hao was not discouraged. He had a lot of materials and was not afraid of waste. After cleaning the furnace, he spent half a day adjusting the state, summarizing the alchemy, and then started refining again. More than 50 days later, the door of the secret room opened and Wang Hao strode out. He looked tired, but still had a happy look on his face. In the past month and a half, he refined 1 furnace of foundation-building pills every 6 days on average, with 1 day of rest in between, and a total of 7 furnaces. The first 3 furnaces failed for various reasons, but Wang Hao summed up his experience and succeeded in the following furnaces. He successfully refined the first foundation-building pill in the 4th furnace, 2 foundation-building pills in the 5th furnace, 3 in the 6th and 7th furnaces, and a total of 9 foundation-building pills. Wang Hao felt that if he was given a top-grade spiritual alchemy furnace, he could increase the success rate to 40%. In this way, 3 pills were given to Wang Wenyan, Wang Wenxiu, and Wang Yenyuan for foundation building. 3 were paid to the Li family to settle the bill. And 3 could be taken back to the family. There were still 33 furnaces of spiritual medicine left, and he planned to refine them slowly in the future. Even if the success rate was 30%, he could still refine 100 foundation-building pills. With 100 foundation-building cultivators, they can already be on par with the general Jindan forces. Of course, one Jindan can deal with 10 late-stage foundation-building cultivators without any problems. Without Jindan cultivators, they are still not as good as them. Wang Hao did not try to refine the condensing spirit pill. First, the Xuanhuan fruit he got had been stored for too long, and the medicinal power was lost seriously. It was easy to fail in refining the condensing spirit pill, and even if it succeeded, the effect would be greatly reduced. The condensing spirit pill can only be taken once, so he naturally would not take it with poor effect. The second reason is that his spiritual consciousness is very strong now, and it is no longer compatible with his body. He always feels that everything is very slow and needs to adapt slowly. In this way, he is not too anxious. Xuanhuan fruit is a third-level spiritual fruit, which has a maturity time comparable to Xuanhuan fruit. The fruit tree needs to be cultivated for 1,000 years before it can bear fruit, and a batch can only mature every 500 years. The upgrade price of the golden land is a bit expensive. The first piece costs 50,000 spiritual stones, the second one costs 100,000, and the third piece costs 150,000. Wang Hao now only has 3 pieces of golden land. With Wang Hao's current output, he can make a profit of about 100,000 spirit stones a year, and the subsequent land pressure after upgrading is still very large. Don't think that a Xuanhuan fruit can be sold for 100,000 and it is easy to upgrade. That is the realistic price. In the farm's judgment, Xuanhuan fruit is an ordinary second-level high-quality spirit fruit, worth only a few thousand spirit stones. The same is true for Bue Xuanhuan fruit. The farm has its own set of pricing system. Wang Hao couldn't transfer the spiritual stones from outside, so he could only upgrade slowly. One piece of the golden land is planted with Bue Xuanhuan fruit trees, another piece is planted with Xuanhuan fruit, and Wang Hao is planning to plant Xuanhuan fruit on another piece. There is not much demand for Xuanhuan fruit now, so it can be planted in black soil. Xuanhuan fruit needs more time to grow. After 19 years, the Flowing formation saved 10 years and still had 9 years left. The Bue Xuanhuan fruit was quite effective, so he couldn't bear to get rid of it, and besides, it could be given to Wang Wenmei and the others. After Wang Hao got on the deck, he found that Wang Wenwu was on duty. He was not good at words, so Wang Hao didn't say much to him. He stayed quietly on the deck, waiting for the ship to approach Vientiane City. A few days later, the ship arrived at the dock. Wang Hao first sold the flesh and blood of monsters and other items that were difficult to store. Those that could not be sold were temporarily moved to 2 other ships. Then he returned the rented ship to the owner and settled the remaining balance. Money, and rented berths to berth the newly acquired ships. After everything was settled, Wang Hao led everyone towards the Nanqing store. As soon as he entered the store, he saw Wang Wenyan hurriedly looking for him after receiving the news. "Fifth brother, you are finally back," Wang Wenyan said with a haggard face. Something happened to the store. That when Wang Hao heard this, he was shocked and asked quickly, "What happened?" "Wenyan, don't be anxious, speak slowly." Wang Wenyan said slowly, "The first 2 months after you left were fine, everything was normal. I sold Ding Yen pills according to the method that fifth brother said, and the business has improved a lot. But starting half a year ago, someone started targeting our store." Wang Hao frowned. He was new to the Wang family. He was targeted because of business competition. Wang Hao had already expected that he had united several stores. It seemed that the driving force behind it was not simple. "Let's go to the meeting hall to discuss it in detail." That the Wang family's shop was suppressed, and the Li family's talisman and seal script may also be affected. Li Durong and the Li family members hurriedly said goodbye to Wang Hao and went to inquire about the situation. Wang Hao led everyone to the backyard meeting hall. Seeing that everyone was here, Wang Hao said, "Everyone is here. Wenyan, please tell me the specific story." Wang Wenyan recounted the story in detail. In fact, it wasn't a very deep story. It was because of Wang Hao's Ding Yen pill that the store's business increased significantly, which led to a decrease in the income of other stores, which made them pay attention to the pill. Fu Pavilion. At first, they were unclear about the forces behind Danfu Pavilion and did not dare to take action. However, half a year ago, Wang Wenxiu accidentally let it slip, and those people learned that they were from the Qingyuan sect of Lijiu Peninsula. The Qingyuan sect was only a Jindan force, and it was far away, so those people naturally became bolder. There are rules in Vientiane City. They dare not target people from Danfu Pavilion, but the competition in business is not polite. The surrounding shops jointly lower their prices. If Danfu Pavilion sells 100 spiritual stones, they will sell them for 99. Shangdanfu Pavilion later sold out the Dingyan pills, and the business plummeted. As for methods such as frame-up, they are also very common and difficult to clarify, but this kind of nonsense is fake after all. People who have bought Wang's elixirs will naturally know the quality. As long as the Wangs also reduce the price and reproduce in-demand goods such as Dingyan elixirs, it is not difficult for business to pick up again. Elders, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have drank with them, but I only said that we were from Xuanhuan's sect, not from Qingyafang. Wang Wenxiu knelt on the ground with a look of horror on his face. Wang Hao originally promised that every one of them could build a foundation, but now that he has made a big mistake, there may be no hope. Humph, even our foundation building monks must be careful in our words and deeds in Vientiane City. You, a cheer-refining monk, why are you wandering around when you have nothing to do? Wang Yanfeng cursed, hating the iron that cannot be transformed into steel. Forget it, even if Wen Xiu doesn't tell us, as long as we inquire carefully, our origins will be exposed, but it will be a day sooner or later. Wang Hao raised his hand to stop Wang Yanfeng's scolding. The world is bustling for profit. We have eroded their interests. It is normal for them to target us. But if it is business competition, I have my own way to deal with them. But we are afraid of outside moves, our strength is still too weak. Wang Yanping said, we have been out for almost 5 years, and we don't know if our ancestors have formed elixirs. If there are golden elixirs in the formation, we don't dare to go too far in judging them. Wang Hao thought the same way. He couldn't form an elixir without 40 or 50 years of hard work. The only person in the Wang family who could form an elixir in a short period of time was Wang Guanan, so he had to go back and deliver the golden yuan fruit to Wang Guanan. Chapter 133 G Family. Wen Yan, have you figured out who targeted us first? Wang Wenyan shook her head. We have checked it earlier, but we have few people and can't get much useful information. Moreover, there are many stores that have jointly reduced prices. The scope is too large to determine the main promoters. But most of them are small and medium-sized enterprises like us. Stores, big stores still have the original prices. If we follow the lead of our competitors and investigate, there will be too many suspects, and the Wang family's limited manpower will take them until the year of the monkey and the month of the horse. Not realistic. Even big stores don't like our business, Wang Wenmei said. Fifth brother is going back to Qingyafang. So, should we wait for a while? They can't keep lowering prices. The loss will be their profits. We and they just need it. Anyway, we just killed a group of monsters and there is no shortage of spiritual stones. This is all we can do now, but we still have to keep some old customers as much as possible. Otherwise, if they get used to going to other stores to buy elixirs, it will be too difficult for our business to pick up. Wang Wenyan said worriedly. Wang Hao nodded. I will refine some beauty-fixing pills to win over old customers. Uncle Wenfeng will also work harder to refine more qi-gathering pills. I will talk about the rest when I come back. He looked at Wen Xiu who was kneeling on the ground again, sighed and said, as for Wen Xiu, there are no rules. If you make a mistake, you will have to bear the consequences. Don't think about the foundation establishment pill. As for how, I will ask the head of the family to decide what to do with you when I return to the family. But don't lose hope. As long as you sincerely change your ways and work honestly, you may not be able to regain the foundation establishment pill in the future. Thank you, fifth brother. Wang Wenxiu originally thought that Wang Hao would take him back and then find a random position to arrange him for the rest of his life. But it only deprived him of the quota for the foundation establishment pill. As long as he stayed in Vientiane City, with the abundant spiritual energy and high income here, he believed that he would be able to accumulate enough spiritual stones for the foundation establishment pill. Okay, you go down first. Wang Hao waved his hand and asked him to leave, and brought out 9 tribesmen, all of whom were very talented. Wang Wenxiu missed the opportunity to build a foundation, and Wang Hao also felt it was a pity. After all, one more foundation building means one more help, but compared to the dead Wang Wenjin and Wang Yanlang, he was lucky. Wen Yan's cultivation level is also a little bad. Don't be too busy with the store. Cultivation level is the foundation. I originally wanted to buy you a foundation building pill to build your foundation, but it seems that the current state is a little. It's not appropriate. I'll leave this foundation establishment pill with Uncle Eighth, Wang Hao said. Uncle Eighth, you should supervise Wen Yan at ordinary times. Don't worry, fifth brother, I will take over the business of the store and let Wen Yan practice well. Wang Wenmei said on the side. Some time ago, the main store was short of manpower, which was why Wang Wenyan was so busy, which delayed her cultivation. Now everyone is back, you can practice in seclusion in batches, and you don't have to bear everything on Wang Wenyan. Wang Wenfeng also nodded. Don't worry, just go back, I will take care of everything here. Wang Wenfeng has been practicing in Qingyafang for many years, and Wang Hao can still trust him. Besides, as long as they stay in the city, there will be no danger. Wang Wenfeng asked again. Wen Hao, what do you plan to bring when you go back this time? Wang Hao said, the exercises must be brought back. Several exercises that can be practiced to the golden elixir stage are very precious. You can also choose one to copy later and choose the opportunity to modify the exercises. We have received so many inheritances, and the family can train more members to learn various arts. In a few years, when they become talented, the income will gradually increase. In addition, there are spirit stones. The resources obtained from hunting monsters and exploring the ruins this time are worth about 500,000 yuan. Everyone divided 200,000 yuan. The remaining 300,000 yuan must be returned to the Li family for 120,000 yuan, plus the above with the remaining balance from this time. I will take back 25 spiritual stones. Keep some for the operation of the shop, and there is no need to sell all the elixirs and monster materials. Taking those materials back is more valuable, can also increase the family business, and save you a lot of hard work. This is a good idea. In the past few days, we will choose some things with high price differences for fifth brother to take away. In addition, I suggest that we buy some unique goods from Vientiane City. Qingyafang will definitely be popular. Speaking of business, Wang Wenyan came. Interested, he said. For example, storage beads made of a kind of clam beads have the same function as storage bags, but they are much smaller and not expensive, but the capacity is not large. But if you buy a dozen, they can be worn as a bag. A skewer is comparable to 3 or 4 storage bags. Wang Yanping was very impressed. This is a very clever plan. Wen Hao has to take away so many things, so if we get some storage beads, it will be easy to ship them. There is also a foundation establishment pill. It's not easy to buy it from the family. How about we collect the existing spiritual stones and buy a foundation establishment pill and send it back to the family? Wang Wenwu suggested. His suggestion was actually detrimental to everyone's interests. After being poor for so many years, he finally made a small fortune by exploring the ruins, but he wanted to buy a foundation building pill for his family. I have no objection. If it weren't for the head of the family and the fifth brother, how could we be where we are today? It would be fine if I gave up all my wealth. Wang Wenmei was the first to express her opinion. I also agree that with one more foundation establishment pill, the family will have more strength. The more prosperous the family is, the more benefits we will naturally get. Wang Hao smiled and said, since everyone has this awareness, I naturally agree, but the family will not misappropriate everyone's private property. This spiritual stone is a temporary loan from the family, and it will be returned to you when there is a balance. Okay, this matter has been agreed. Let's all work hard these days. Select the goods and materials. I will take care of the foundation establishment pill. If there is nothing else, let's break up first. Everyone has been tired for more than half a year. Let's take a rest for the night. At the same time, a conversation was also going on in a secret room on Cancer Island. Cancer Island is round in shape as a whole, but there are 2 small islands deep in the front to form an island chain, which resembles two large pincers of a crab, hence its name. There is a third-level middle-grade spiritual vein on Cancer Island, and the owner Ji Linfeng is a golden elixir. Middle monk, Ji Linfeng's hair and beard were all white. He sat at the top and glanced at everyone in the field. Finally, he looked at Ji Xiaotang and said, "Xiaotang, tell me, what happened that caused the loss of so many clan members? Only 500 years ago did the Ji family have a golden elixir, so they began to think about the relics of the alchemy cauldron sect, so the family moved to Cancer Island and soon took root here. Ji Linfeng was born at that time, and then built the Ji, Jidun, can be said to be the generation that witnessed the rise of the family, but in a battle with the Huang family several decades ago, nearly one-third of the low-level clansmen were killed or injured, and only 7 people were left in the foundation-building clansmen, which was seriously damaged. Just when they had recovered, Ji Xiaotang killed dozens of talented clansmen. It was really a double whammy." Section 70. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Before Ji Xiaotang could speak, Ji Xiaohua stepped forward and said, "Grandfather, I'm not trying to shirk responsibility. There are too many dangers in the ruins. There are countless second-level monsters and third-level monsters." "Is that so?" Several foundation-building cultivators were shocked. A middle-aged foundation-building cultivator frowned and looked at Ji Xiaohua. "Sit down, Xiaotang, you speak, this man is called Ji Fusho, who is at the 7th level of foundation building. Ji Xiaohua is his direct bloodline. He doesn't want to see Ji Xiaohua being punished." Ji Xiaotang stood up and said respectfully, "Yes, third uncle." Then Ji Xiaotang told the story in detail starting from when they encountered Wang Xi's ship. However, he concealed what happened when he entered the spirit vein and Wang Hao, and only said that the two of them intended to form a temporary alliance. Everyone was stunned. When they heard that their clansmen were in danger, they clenched their fists in worry, and when they were out of danger, they breathed a sigh of relief, and when they harvested the spiritual medicine, they smiled again. Chapter 134, Return to Baoqing Pavilion. How can you make friends with outsiders and kill the Qi family? A family elder asked angrily. Yes, if you destroyed the other 2 families and enjoyed the harvest alone, we would not say anything, but now you want to share it with the Wang family, it is really unwise. Another person followed up. Ji Xiaotang was born in Mortal City. Although she is extremely talented, no other foundation-building masters in the family are willing to speak for her. Ahem, okay, Ji Linfeng coughed and said, "Xiaotang's choice is right. The Wang and Li families are the strongest. If Xiaotang didn't unite with them, she might not be able to come back now. You guys, just don't want to think more." Ji Linfeng was a little dissatisfied with everyone's comments. It was also because he had grown old in the past few years and had not determined the successor. It was inevitable that the people below would fight for power and profit. He intended to let Ji Xiaotang be the next head of the family. Ji Xiaotang had dual spiritual roots and practiced hard. The probability of forming a pill was much higher than others, but the disadvantage was that other foundation-building masters did not support her. Of course, if Ji Xiaotang succeeds in forming a pill, all problems will be solved. Strength is the foundation of the cultivation world, and others are willing to live under the wings of a Jindan cultivator. Now is not the time to blame Xiaotang, but to think about what we should do next. I can still protect you for a few years, but what about after I die? Ji Linfeng scolded sternly. Everyone was silent, and no one dared to speak for a while. "Speak, are you dumb?" Ji Fusho said, "Ancestor, if the Qi and Qin families send people to question us, what should we say? What should they think? Will they unite to deal with us like they did with the Huang family? Why don't we take the initiative and destroy one family, and the other family will be easier to deal with?" Someone suggested. No, the 3 families are roughly equal in strength. Even if they are not prepared, it will be difficult for us to eliminate one family in a short period of time. Once we start, they will definitely think that we want to monopolize the secret realm and will definitely unite to deal with us. Then make peace. Just say that those people died in the mouth of the monster. We let Xiao Tang and the others hide and pretend that they know nothing. Are you taking people for fools? Then what do you say we should do? How do I know? Okay, what are you arguing about? Do you still have me as your ancestor in your eyes? Ji Linfeng was very angry. None of these descendants were willing to do well, and he felt that Ji Xiaotang was more suitable to be the next head of the family. After taking a deep breath, he said, "Let's put this matter aside for now. If anyone has a good idea, tell me. Xiaotang, Xianhua, you will hand over the harvest from the ruins." "Yes, ancestor." Ji Xiaotang and Ji Xianhua then put out their storage bags and poured the harvest all over the ground. Looking at the various materials and spiritual medicines that were shining brightly, everyone nodded in satisfaction. Although these things had to be put into the clan treasury, they were much cheaper to exchange than to buy from the outside world. "Okay, you can leave after registration. Xiao Tang, you stay." After the others left, Ji Linfeng said with a smile, "I didn't expect that after a trip to the ruins, your cultivation has reached the 9th level of foundation building. It seems that there is hope for the golden elixir. This is the biggest gain of my Ji family this time." Ji Xiaotang didn't say it, and she deliberately concealed it, so other people didn't notice her rapid improvement in cultivation, but she still couldn't hide it from the golden elixir ancestor, so he respectfully said, "Ancestor, Xiaotang's cultivation can be improved thanks to the 2 Bue Xuanhuan fruits given by Wang Hao." "Oh, there is this matter. The value of Bue Xuanhuan fruit is not low. This kid from the Wang family gave it as a gift. Don't be to attract Xiaotang's attention." Ji Linfeng suddenly felt that the cabbage he had raised for decades was about to be stolen. He also knew that Ji Xiaotang concealed some things, and he didn't blame her. The Ji family was not a monolithic group. Some things couldn't be known to too many people, so he asked Ji Xiaotang to explain in detail. Ji Xiaotang did not hide anything and told Wang Hao about her encounter in the spirit vein in detail, and handed over all the gains from the spirit vein. As she told the story, Ji Linfeng's face became darker and darker, and finally he couldn't help cursing in a rage, "Thief, how dare you do that?" He looked at Ji Xiaotang fiercely. "What do you think? Do you really want to go with him?" "Don't be angry, ancestor, Xiaotang has no such intention," Ji Xiaotang explained hurriedly, "but our souls have been blended for 81 lives, and the ancestor should understand that I can't forget each other in this life. But Xiaotang promises that I will train a Jindan cultivator for the family before considering personal matters." Ji Linfeng closed his eyes and thought for a while, then he realized that this matter was inevitable. If he forced Ji Xiaotang to stay, his heart was not here. What was the point of staying? Besides, he could only live for a few years, and the rest of the people were no match for Ji Xiaotang, and she could leave whenever she wanted. What if Wang Hao was killed secretly? It would not be appropriate. Once discovered by Xiaotang, he would probably hate the family and provoke enemies of the family. This would be an unwise move. It doesn't matter, you have searched for so many treasures for the family, and you don't owe the family anything. This may be the fate of the Ji family. Thinking of a group of unsatisfactory family foundations, Ji Linfeng said helplessly, and he still had to continue to train Ji Xiaotang. He knew Ji Xiaotang. Since he said he wanted to cultivate a golden elixir for the family, he was definitely not lying. Then Ji Xiaotang had to guard the family for at least 100 years, which was enough. "I think your magic power is a bit weak. It's not suitable to attack the golden elixir for the time being, so go and polish it with peace of mind. I have 2 elixir-forming spiritual objects in my hand. I hope I can see you forming elixirs before I close my eyes, ancestor." "Ancestor! Stay back." Ji Linfeng waved his hand and closed his eyes again, feeling much older for a moment. Ji Xiaotang gave a solemn salute and then slowly withdrew. The Wang family began to buy supplies everywhere. Wang Hao also notified Li Durong to see if they would send someone back together. The Wang family was short of manpower, and the Li family was naturally short of manpower. Li Durong also decided to go back, and she saw the Wang family's actions and understood. She couldn't go back empty-handed, so she immediately asked her tribe members to buy supplies. while she went to the market to inquire about the auction and planned to buy 2 foundation establishment pills, Wang Hao made a slight disguise and went directly to Baoqing Pavilion. As soon as the female shopkeeper saw Wang Hao, she came up enthusiastically and said, "Fellow Taoist, I'm here. I wonder if there are any beast-nurturing pills." Wang Hao smiled and said, "I'm here to buy things, not to sell them." The female shopkeeper stretched out her hand and said, "Fellow Taoist, let's talk in detail upstairs." After arriving in the private room on the 2nd floor, she personally served a cup of tea. The female shopkeeper asked, "I don't know what you want to buy." "Foundation building pills, I wonder if your pavilion can sell them for 2. Wang Hao asked tentatively. He didn't lack foundation building pills, but he could give them to the Li family as a favor. At the same time, he had this problem. Because of the relationship, he could hide himself. After all, no one knew how many foundation establishment pills Wang Hao bought in the store. The female shopkeeper hesitated for a while and said, "If fellow Taoist comes to exchange for the beast-nurturing pill, I might as well sell the foundation-building pill to fellow Taoist." Wang Hao took out 10 bottles of beast-nurturing pills and said, "I only have these 10 bottles. In this way, I can only sell you 1 foundation establishment pill, and you will have to compensate for the price difference of 15,000 spirit stones. What if we add these 2 blue moon Xuanhuan fruits?" Wang Hao took out 2 more fruits. The seeds were obtained from Baoqing Pavilion, and now they are sold to others. Wang Hao himself wanted to laugh. "Bua Xuanhuan fruit?" The female shopkeeper took it and looked at it carefully to confirm that it was real. She glanced at Wang Hao in surprise and praised, "Fellow Taoist, you really hide your secrets. I don't know if there are any more. For more fruits or news about fruit trees, I, Baoqing Pavilion, can buy them at a high price." Chapter 135 Master Baoqing. "No more." Wang Hao shook his head. "I was lucky enough to get 2 fruits from a small island. The fruit trees have been divided by my companions." The female shopkeeper had a look of pity on her face. She didn't know whether Wang Hao's words were true or false, but since he said that, he definitely didn't want to sell it to her. Compared with the foundation establishment pill, Wang Hao actually wanted to buy a pill-forming spiritual object for Wang Guang'an, so he said again, "But I got another 2nd-level fruit tree, and the value is also not low. I wonder if the shopkeeper is interested." As expected, the female shopkeeper looked interested, but she still asked calmly after many years of experience in business negotiations, "Oh, may I ask what kind of fruit tree it is, and what do fellow Taoists want?" Wang Hao directly took out a passion spirit fruit, handed it over and said, "The 2nd-order top-grade passion spirit fruit tree, and what I need is the dust-falling pill in the hands of Master Baoqing." When the female shopkeeper heard about the dust-falling pill, her expression changed and she refused directly. "Impossible, 1 passion spirit fruit is only worth 1,000 spirit stones, and the fruit tree's transaction price is around 50,000 spirit stones. You want to exchange this tree for the dust-falling pill? Fellow Taoist's calculation is too good. What if we add this thing?" Wang Hao took out the soul-slaying sword. Since he does not change his martial arts and does not have the gold and earth attributes, he cannot drive this sword. Therefore, this sword is useless. Of course, it can be left to the Wang family, and can be used by the younger generation after they succeed in practicing the sun and moon cycle. But how difficult is it to cultivate a golden elixir? Will this sword be kept for hundreds of years? Might as well sell it now and realize its value. Low-grade magic weapon. The female shopkeeper was shocked by Wang Hao again. She guessed that this man must have inherited some relics, otherwise why would he have so many good things in his hand? The value of the falling dust pill is much lower than that of the golden elixir and jade liquid. The golden pill and jade liquid can be sold for a high price of 500,000 spirit stones, but the dust-falling pill only costs 200,000, which is similar to the price of a low-grade magic weapon. The female shopkeeper looked at Wang Hao. Since Taoist friend has this magic weapon, why don't you go to the auction? Selling this sword is enough to buy a pill-forming spiritual item, that it can't be that easy. All major auctions require admission tickets, and Wang Hao's high-profile purchases can lead to people being spotted if he fails to guarantee them. In comparison, being traded by the Baoqing Pavilion family is much safer. I believe more in the dust-falling pill refined by Master Baoqing, Wang Hao complimented and asked, can the shopkeeper make the decision? The female shopkeeper shook her head, my ancestor still needs to make a decision on this matter. Fellow Taoist, please wait a moment and let me ask. Of course you can, I don't know how long it will take. Wang Hao asked. The real person is refining elixirs in the back. Fellow Taoist will be here in a moment. It won't be long. Fellow Taoist, please drink tea first. I'll come back as soon as I go. The female shopkeeper leaned down and left the room. Wang Hao started to taste the tea out of boredom. After taking a sip, he felt refreshed. It seemed to be a second-level spiritual tea. The big shop was really generous. Even such a cup of tea could not be bought without 100 spiritual stones. About 3/4 of an hour later, the female shopkeeper came again and said with a smile, the real person wants to meet the Taoist friend. For specific transactions, the Taoist friend can meet with the real person. To be honest, Wang Hao didn't want to deal with Master Jindan, but Chen Pill was related to Wang Guanan's path, so he still had to fight for it. So he nodded and followed the female shopkeeper to the cave in the backyard where Master Baoqing was. After arriving at the door, the female shopkeeper stopped and said, fellow Taoist, you can go in on your own. Just as Wang Hao was hesitating, a hearty voice came. Don't worry, little friend, it's just a magic weapon, I won't do anything shameless. The next moment, a slovenly, fat old man, who seemed to have been covered in black smoke, landed from the sky and stopped in front of Wang Hao. Wang Hao sensed that he had the aura of a middle-stage Jindan. Now that he has been discovered, there is no reason to turn around and leave. That is not giving Jindan real face. Master Baoqing walked over and put his arms around the female shopkeeper's waist in front of Wang Hao, rubbing her hands gently. Mrs. Su will go and do some work first. I will talk to you in detail after I finish talking with my little friend. This old man is not serious, Wang Hao complained in his heart. He thought that Jindan was a majestic man, but he turned out to be a lustful and sloppy old man. The concubine has resigned. The female shopkeeper slapped Master Baoqing's hand away angrily, gave a slight salute and turned to leave. Master Baoqing sniffed his palms with nostalgia, and then looked at Wang Hao, who had been expressionless. My friend, please come in, let's talk in detail. As he spoke, he took out a token and opened the cave. Master Baoqing's cave is very large, taking up about 1/3 of the backyard. However, the interior layout was a bit beyond Wang Hao's expectation. He thought that the lustful old man's room would look like a wine pond and a forest of meat, but the room turned out to be a huge alchemy room, surrounded by all things related to alchemy, and nothing else. After the two of them had sex on a stone table, Master Baoqing said, I have no family and no sect. I am used to being idle. The cave is a bit messy. Don't blame me, little friend. May I ask your name and where you come from? Wang Hao slandered. Rosely cultivate golden elixir. It's really strange to be a third-level alchemist. Wang Hao bowed his hands and said, this junior's surname is Han, and his name is Li. He is just a member of a small family and comes from a small island in Vientiane City. Oh, my little friend has such a level of cultivation and can still bring out so many treasures, but he is just from a small family. Master Baoqing smiled meaningfully. Wang Hao really didn't lie to him this time. His expression remained unchanged. This junior is just lucky enough to get some opportunities. It doesn't matter. I also got some opportunities in my early years to achieve what I am today. Don't mind it, little friend. I'm just asking casually. Master Baoqing suddenly became serious after saying this. Little friend, can you let me take a look at that magic weapon?